is episode 152 of the BIC podcast. We're doing it live.
Wait, we're live? Oh,
We're
crap.
live.
No, I didn't sign up for that.
I'm afraid you did, Eric. And not only did you sign up for it, you signed up for it in perpetuity.
Not that perpetuity again.
It's really bad. It's a lot of that coming around. But yes. So I am wearing the hat in honor of an unfortunate outcome. It was. I will say though, to be honest, to kind of expand on it, I was actually having the conversation with Ed Weskergriff. Actually, it's worse than that. The Dallas lost on Saturday. That was kind of the buried lead. I didn't catch it fully, but they did lose. And then also the Packers lost as a 13-point favorite against the Panthers, and Tucker Kraft is injured. And I'm sitting there like, all right, listen, that's just mean.
Yeah.
All right, like, dude,
Yeah.
Dude,
That's not right.
it's a bit much.
I was pulling for the Jays, and we were watching the game, and I couldn't believe that. I mean, if I was a Jays fan, I remember the stress and the anxiety of the Nationals. Obviously, our outcome was different. I don't know how I would have felt having the lead and everything. 2 outs away from winning, and then the tying home run was hit. Like, that's like a huge gut punch. You know, the slide at home plate that was so close, it almost looked like, Will Smith's foot came off, but then he got it back down. Like, there was just so many things that happened, and it was like, jeez. And then, I don't know if you've seen the story of the guy that caught the tying home run.
Oh yeah, his dad caught the other one, right?
Well, his son caught the other one.
I was going to say there's the father. There's a father and son. Yeah,
yeah,
and they're trying to auction off the ball for like serious money.
Well, the father threw a ball back onto the field.
Yeah, he
but
had one in his
John
pocket.
Boy captured it.
Yeah.
He actually did a switcheroo because he had gotten a BP ball, and then he had another one that was thrown up to him. So he had a ball in his pocket, and he did a switcheroo and threw it back out. So he actually had the home run ball.
Yep.
Why?
Because Game 7 tying and winning balls, they're going to get paid.
No, but why do a switcheroo and throw the ball back out on the other
because
ball?
because he didn't want to get razzed by the people in his section for keeping the ball.
Because they were in Jay's attire, so he pretended that he threw the ball back, but it wasn't the actual ball.
Yeah, he basically had a gimmick ball basically in that moment. He goes, yes, I will throw this away. This trash, I don't want it. Son, let us go get it authenticated. Let's go get our bag. Just saying.
Okay.
I understood.
Yep.
I understood. So real quick, I'll just touch on a couple of the things you said there as well. I'll read a couple of comments. So Josh here says, Expo weekend. You know what that means? Because I'm Carlos live on Monday. Facts, Josh. Facts. 3 more days. That is correct, sir. We approacheth. And real quick, I'll put the countdown timer on. Eric, this is the last time we get to do the countdown timer. Because the next time there is anything on this channel, the Expo is nigh.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Look. It approacheth.
Oh, wow.
Ominously. Less than 3 days. Because remember, it's 4 p.m. 4 p.m. on Thursday.
Yeah.
It approacheth.
That
wasn't.
I'm spending tomorrow getting ready and running errands and packing and trying to organize what part of the collection I want to bring up to get stuff signed, and then of course I got the mail truck behind me on the floor. Biggest amount of mail I've ever had to bring across the border for all you people, including that nice young lady in the comments. I got stuff.
Oh, look at you sucking up. Subtle.
I got stuff for her. And it's just, I'm going to get stuck at the border, and they're going to be like, oh, you're not a dealer. What's with all this stuff? I'm like, I swear to God, none of it's mine, and it's all for friends. I swear. And then
do you ever need how many people at the border say, I swear none of it's mine? Brandon, I swear none of it is mine. It's like, no, sir, we were not asking about the hockey memorabilia. We're not asking for that. Why do you have a pool noodle? And why is there a bottle of lubricant beside the pool noodle? Can you explain why these two things are together? And why is there a copy? What does that say? Is that in space? Emmanuel?
Does
That's
Border
why
Patrol really care about you bringing sports cards across the border?
right now I am very concerned because of the tensions with the countries, and I'm concerned that it won't be as easy as before because maybe they want to make it a little bit more difficult to send a message of some sort. I'm very concerned. Either both going both ways. I'm just a little concerned.
It is a possibility. But all I'll say, Eric, like I said, I promise you, and you have my word on this, that we definitely haven't left word and images for you. I said, look out for this man. You seen this man? Ask him what's going on with that pool noodle.
Okay.
Just saying. Good evening, Phil. CSBI cares about a BB base. That's the only thing they care about, Phil. The only thing. And Eric has a lot of Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
Yeah, I'm bringing a lot of beans.
They're worth billions.
That's right.
There's a hockey stick in the pool noodle. We wish, Amanda. We wish that were true.
I sent Amanda a hockey stick, a game used and autographed Jason Allison, former captain of the Boston Bruins, her favorite player. I sent her a stick, and she can attest that is how we wrap them. And so all of a sudden, a giant like orange pool noodle showed up at her house, and inside of it was Jason Allison's hockey stick.
Now, this is important, Amanda. Please tell me you didn't handle the pool noodle with your bare hands. This is important. I'm just saying. Moving on. Paul, evening, gents. In person, I'm going to make up a story about so Canada keeps them in their country.
And person.
From the bench, good evening. Liquidating my Beanie Babies for Labubu's. Indeed. And it's going to be extra impressive when Paul tries to pull this off. He goes, wait, aren't you the serial killer studying guy? Oh, you never heard me. Click.
If they ever checked Paul's browser Google history.
Browser history, the combination is wild. Wild.
His gift choices.
Oh, let me tell you. Eric, you could be going to the Expo and LA gear. Could be worse. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Indeed. So I'll finish kind of your thought. Yes, I was saying to because my buddy was asking me about it, and basically the reality is, and I don't know if you're familiar, if you've considered this or thought about it. Personally, I'm a big proponent. Like you said, if the Nationals thing had gone a different way, you're not sure how you'd reacted to it and all that. All I'm going to say is this: my buddy messaged me, and this is my buddy who I've known for more than 20 years, and I was groomsman at his wedding. But when he messaged me, I basically gave him a really short answer. And then basically we went back and forth really quickly. And he goes, are you like throwing, a beer can at so-and-so because one of our friends, we were watching a game and I got mad at something and I threw a beer can and bounced off the ground and bounced off his head. And he goes, are you like throwing the beer can angry? And I was like, no, I'm a burn his house to the ground while his family dies inside of it angry. I would not ask me any more questions. Kaiser Soze is right now avoiding me because he wants no part of that rage. He's like, nope. We're good. We're good.
I knew things weren't. You're pretty even keel when it comes.
I have learned to do that over time, Brandon. But in my youths, I used to have the stereotypical Latin anger. I have learned to harness it and like keep it calm.
Well, when you text me and said I've checked out because I didn't want to throw something through the TV, I was like, yeah, this isn't going very well.
Brandon, I can live with one thing. So here's the thing. Just put it into contrast. I always enjoy making fun of Eric and the 86 Red Sox and his abandonment of his team. Here's the thing. If that scenario happened, actually, I've been perfectly fine. Really. It would have been, that's easy. That's child's play. Because I'm looking at two separate games. The Game 7 thing was really annoying. The fact that the man decided to be so close to the third base, he could have made love to it. He was still in physical contact with the base. As opposed to getting any, and the fact that the final play, again, with everything that happened, just to be clear, $33 million closer that they signed this season who couldn't close, that they paid to do that. They paid to do this job that did not do the job that they paid him to do.
And Max Scherzer actually gave y'all a very good Max.
I'm going to get to that,
playoff
Brendan. I'm going to get to that.
performance.
I'm going to get to that. Hang on. I'm going to get to that. I have my $33 million closer who is being paid. And this is the first year of a 3-year deal for this. Who is being paid, who blew 10 saves during the regular season, was actually atrocious at not making saves. During the playoffs, somehow miraculously managed not to do this up until 2 outs away from winning the World Series. And served up a home run on an 83-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch directly high and in the zone to the number 9 hitter. And by the way, the very next batter, Mr. Goatman himself, Shohei, who didn't do shit in the series outside of one game that people slathered themselves over. Outside of that guy. And then he popped up. So he wasn't a problem, but the number 9 hitter apparently was an issue. Then, despite this, the 9th inning, they get the bases loaded. That doesn't work. Ernie Clement, who set the record for most hits in a single postseason. Ernie Clement, the infamous Ernie Clement that we've all heard of, obviously before this.
Still haven't heard of him, but go ahead.
Yeah. Set the record for most hits in a single postseason. Hit the ball up. The outfielders bounced off each other, and they still caught it.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there like, and in the 10th inning, Vladdy hit a shot that was almost to the warning track. So the point, Brandon, is there's about 37 different, but the point is ultimately, they actually technically lost the World Series by 2 inches.
Oh, it wasn't even that. It looked
I'm being
like
generous. I'm being nice.
dust. Was
One
like
more
the
step
separation.
one more step forward, and this is not, or maybe he doesn't slide, and he just runs because it's a force play and you don't have to slide. Just run through it. So yes, so you know how we did the whole DEFCONs, Eric?
Yes.
I was like DEFCON -7. And 1 is like nuclear war.
Yeah.
-7.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, not a happy camper. Mm-mm.
As a hockey fan and someone who's followed the sport all the way back when I was sitting on my dad's lap, I had to giggle when the fight broke out and the fat ass pitchers trotted themselves almost to exhaustion from the outfield across. Hey, Dan. And all the way across the field to stand and do nothing when they got to the pitcher's mound. Baseball players are a joke. A joke. If I was really mad, I'd hop the fence of the warm-up pen, go and not go straight, take a right and just jump into the other warm-up pen and just start throwing down. But no, all the pitchers jog out like they're there. They're gonna
Eric,
go kick some
Eric,
ass.
two things.
What a
Number one, the bench clearing thing is just for show.
It's a joke.
Hockey's a joke, Eric.
No.
Those guys are pansies. They're fighting for nothing.
Completely wrong this time.
Hold on, Eric.
Complete joke.
So you're saying, and you're comparing these guys, right? But in hockey, in 99% of the scenarios,
They
right?
hug each other.
It's one guy versus one guy who's pulling on each other's jerseys, and the others
Nobody
are
makes
just
contact.
standing
It's
around
a waste
watching
of time.
or like
Yeah.
hugging each other, acting like they're getting involved.
There's harder contact
no
in professional
different.
wrestling. There's
Because
harder
he-
contact in professional wrestling, but they try to make it look like if I grab the
need to-
jersey and never make contact, that's what I'm doing as a hockey player. This is a
I
hockey
need to
fight.
remind you of your
Wait, hold on.
text the
Woo.
other day. Your
And they miss and they
explanation.
never make contact.
Yeah, you guys can try to defend this crap sport, and that
Eric, I don't have to defend it. I don't give a shit about that.
it's horrible.
You're worrying about the least irrelevant part of the entire.
It was
it's
embarrassing.
typical.
It was embarrassing.
Please.
Hold on.
Give me a
Hold
break.
on. So, Eric's message the other day. They also just stand around waiting for something to happen. Every
Yeah,
other
hockey goalie.
sport, you go to the ball.
A
In
hockey goalie.
baseball, the ball comes to you.
Hockey goalie.
Lazy, fat, prima donna game players.
Reggie
And my
Lemonade.
response was, so goalies, in which you literally created an Instagram account to honor.
Yep.
And keep going. And I said,
Don't you use facts on me,
"You son of a bitch!"
you son of a bitch. But I just wanted to make it known that Eric thinks baseball players are just like goalies.
They are.
And he has an account to honor the goal. He has a
Yeah.
goalie's jersey right up over his
does.
left shoulder there.
Yeah.
He's just afraid to admit.
Eric's a lot of talk.
He doesn't
Every
have
time he
enough
talks about
time
all these
to
things he
honor
doesn't like,
all of the
they are
baseball
precisely the
legends
things
that
he likes.
appreciates.
Brandon, every time Eric opens his mouth, everything he talks about is all the things he loves. He's like, I want everybody to just get along. He would have felt better if the players had just grabbed each other's jerseys. No one had ever made. Everybody came out without a scratch, and then the umpires just pulled them apart. Okay, guys, you made it look good. You can go to the little box of shame for 5 minutes, like nothing happened. It's okay. It's
Nope.
all right.
Nope. Sorry, that was
The only fight Eric has ever won is against a Bobby Orr hockey stick, and we have that footage. All the other times he tries to fight a tree with his bike and he loses.
That is, I can't argue with that.
All those things that I said are true.
That last part is definitely true.
Well, you did. I think you beat the Bobby Orr hockey stick, Eric. Don't sell yourself short. I think you beat the hockey stick on points.
Not to change the subject.
The one I had today, I didn't damage at all. So
Yet.
Do you want to hear something sad for me today? Because I never thought about it.
no.
I was going to bring.
You're going to tell us about a story about Boston Bruins?
No, I was going to bring some
Not quite that
Bobbles
sad.
swag up. You know,
Okay.
Eric's got one of the cups. It's a very nice cup.
Okay.
I have some shirts still. I was like, I'll bring the guys some shirts and some cups. And then I realized it all says SGC bulk submitter on it. And I was like, yeah, no.
Have you thought about scratching that out and just written boutique submitter?
I can't scratch it out. It's on the shirt, on the back and everything. They're
Boutique
really...
would make you so fancy, though.
So, anyways, I didn't think that'd be the best of ideas, especially since it has like web addresses and emails and that kind of crap on it. I was like, nope, no advertising, nope. So, that was a sad moment.
Yeah. So real quick, I'm gonna finish my story just so I can before Eric rudely interrupted, because like I said, if I want to hear about soft pansies, I got two of them right here.
Ooh,
That's not funny.
You can tell they're game used because there's nothing on them. It's as if they were right off a rack. Anyway, so I'll finish my story. So, like I said, the two games were irritating one after another for those various reasons. By the way, also, I have never seen a ball lodged for the Game 6 thing. I have never seen a ball lodged in that Feds thing. And also, I understand the concept of the rule. I get the idea behind the rule, but it's really a stupid rule. Because I'm sitting there like, you're telling me. Because the idea is if something gets lodged because in other stadiums, this rule is in effect.
Mhm.
This is not the only stadium. The concept is if the ball gets lodged there and an outfielder has to try to extract it and for whatever reason it's actually stuck in there, that's not fair, quote unquote. Hence, they put a rule in there. But I'm sitting there like, I know what that, Sky Dome, I'm going to say, because I'm going to call it the Sky Dome. I know what that Sky Dome upgraded turf looks like. It's very cushiony. It's very, you can get that ball out with one finger. So, AKA, like, Brandon, this is a situation where the letter of the rule defeats the spirit of the rule. I'm like, there is nothing preventing you from grabbing that ball and just throwing it. I understand it's the rule. I'll give the outfielder credit for understanding the rule and applying it immediately. Like, he used it. But I'm sitting there like, I've seen games where the umpire will literally go and put their finger and just check. And if they could just extract the ball out, I'm like, nope, fuck no. Sorry. The umpire can overrule that. They can use a little common sense, and they decide not to. So it's a combination of all these things together, Brandon. And
watching that play, I don't think the center fielder was even going to put his hands up. It was the left fielder. When he put his hands up, the center fielder kind of stopped and was like, oh, yeah, it's stuck. Because I don't think the center fielder was even going to do it.
Yeah, pretty much. Good evening, Paul. Evening, all, and Eric. You weren't there, Carlos. No, I wasn't. You're right. If we hadn't applied this rule, the center fielder would be trapped trying to extract that ball to this very day. To this very day. They just leave him there. He'd be stuck all by himself for the rest of his days trying to extract that ball out of that wedge. Undefeatable. So anyway, after the Friday live stream, I have occasions where sometimes I'll be working on some stuff late, And I am a night owl. I was tempted to send Eric a text message 3 in the morning just because I did think about it. But anyway, so I was working on some stuff. And by the time I look up, and sometimes I lose track of time, Brandon, like I'll have some YouTube going on in the background, time goes by. And then I look up and I looked up and it was already like 8:30 in the morning. And I was like, huh, okay. And this is after the Friday live stream. So this is Saturday morning. And once it gets to like that point, I'm sitting there like, so do I go to bed for like a power nap or do I just like let it go? So I decided to let it go. So by the time the World Series game was over, and then I watched some other YouTube and I caught up on my AEW because after that I was very angry. So I was like, I'm just going to watch something else for a little bit. So I didn't sleep between Friday morning and I went to bed at 1:30 a.m. on Sunday morning.
So you were awake for 2 straight losses with no sleep.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not the best idea.
No, probably not. No, not so much. So yeah. And then, like I said, the pack, and then after I finally got some sleep, then I watched the Packers lose to a 13-point favorite to the Panthers, and my tight end gets injured. And then, like I said, I missed the Dallas game, but then afterwards I checked the score, and I'm like, "What?
Don't say it like that again. That didn't sound right."
Well, that's the name of the position, Brandon. What do you want me to call it? Eric was getting excited. He was about to grab a pool noodle. He used to have a couple. One of them was a murderer. He probably doesn't want to talk about that one.
And the other one I sent to Amanda.
The murderous tight end?
No, the pool noodle.
Oh. Well, you didn't grab the pool noodle from that collection, did you? You went to the new ones, the ones that were wrapped. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. It's important. Like, listen, my feeling about your respect for Amanda would decline precipitously if you didn't go to the clean ones. At least have some decency, sir.
Yeah, they right out of the box. They were fresh.
All right. Just to give a video a like. Good evening. But yeah, so that wasn't so it was that, Brandon, that it was far and away the worst sports weekend I've ever had. And like I said, the Dallas game was like the icing on top, and I didn't even know about that until after. I just checked the score and I'm like, wait, they lost to Florida too? Oh, fuck this. Like, this is lit.
They had lost the game before in overtime as well.
This is atrocious. At this point, I was like, for a brief shining moment, I understood what it was like to be Eric, and for everything I love to suck. This is very unfortunate. Very sad. Sad times. But anyway, so that's it. So I wore the hat in honor of that. I've taken my time. I vented. So now, I think it's time. It is a live edition, so we are going to get into some of the other things. I'm going to go through the questions and comments from last week. We actually did get some, so I'm going to do that now. And then we got the silly card of the week. We do have the update on that one. And then we've got a handful of pickups. As you can see, I got some stuff if anybody needs a coaster. I'll bring this one to Expo. Just put your drink right on top.
I don't have them in hand, but I can send you some pictures of some pickups.
All right. And it says appreciated. Good stuff, Amanda. All right, let me read these comments. So Hodges actually was on here just a second ago, and also in the comments section, gave video a like, enjoyed the discussion, so thank you for that. Baz commented here on this is last week's episode. Eric is what the Americans call 2 beers, lol. Sheets to the wind, something Canadians never uttered. Not even 3 sheets. It's true. Our response, I was flabbergasted at the impact of a few pints of dirty water had on the man. The science is astounding. I consumed 2 very strong IPAs when I was listening, trying to contemplate this very concept. And then 540 Flips chimes in. You don't want to know what Americans actually call Eric. Actually, all in caps too.
Isn't he, Eric?
That was cold. And they were like mean emojis.
Died. He hasn't been around in a long time, and I kind of thought he died, and I hope he died, but he's obviously risen and is back, like Michael Myers in Halloween. Like you think he got him, but he comes back. I'm hearing that piano music now, and I'm going to find out who this 540 Flips guy is. And I'm telling you, I'm going to give him a beat down.
We're going to have to see about that one. Bobbles says, I think it's a little too early to draw conclusions on the Medano sale. So obviously we were talking about that one last week. It's a hot new release with bounty still in play. The bounty set an arbitrary floor out of the gate. Big money follows hype. Carlos may easily obtain the card when it gets optioned off a second or third time as more of the particular shields hit the mark and the hype fades. So I did kind of add to that. But they said the kind of thing that messed up. So this was the Medano shield price and the discussion we were having on it. What messes it up is that GP Sports said the bounty and has been hoarding a bunch of them. They confirmed they were willing to go to 7,800. So even more than the original bounty. And once they shown they were looking to move they haven't shown they're looking to move the shields once they acquire them. So basically it's that's kind of the issue, is that right now, as soon as somebody decides, all right, I'm going to make this the price, other people just kind of follow suit. They roll with it. And actually, we're going to talk about comps in a couple of minutes. because I did share with the guys a little piece of video. Brandon didn't get a chance to see it, but Eric did, and we're going to talk about it. And it's one of Eric's personal heroes, not his personal Jesus, that's Geoff, but another one, and a man who, by name proxy, by adjacency, he sort of works for.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Or owns.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. And then Refractor Jones chimes in. Don't believe the hype. So thank you, Refractor Jones. Thank you all for the comments. Appreciate it. Okay. So those are the comments from last week. Now, let me get into silly card of the week here. Got it all queued up. So votes were down a little bit this week. We left it up in the main one, but we'll try to see if we do better this time around. I will say though, again, it'll be this week. I'm going to try to get it up, set up probably tonight, just so that it's ready to go. Because obviously, you know, everybody will be in travel mode, and I got to get some stuff prepared for Expo, and we're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. So I want to make sure I don't forget to do it. That way, it'll be a community post on the channel, so you can check out the posts and you can make your favorite selection. So I'll give you the results from last week. So here are the results from last week. So the Clown Prince got 50% of the popular vote. Very strong outcome. That's probably one of the strongest wins we've seen in a while. Peak Athleticism had 29% because a lot of people did appreciate Bartolo.
They didn't
Teammates with
appreciate my
Bobbles.
teammate.
Yep. People didn't appreciate it. No. We did get 3 likes on the post, though. Appreciate that as well. So thank you for that. Now, this week, we got 3 options once again. First one is a wonderful gift by the ungrateful, given to the ungrateful swine. That's you, Eric.
Oh, yeah. I'm very excited about having this card in my collection, and the and
Now,
just
Eric, can I ask a question? Why
Yeah.
is it silly to have a Gordie Howe in a card?
I hate you so much.
I don't understand. Like, Gordie Howe seems like a nice guy.
I was trying to be nice because of your very gracious gift to me.
It really is.
But we all know for a fact that I hate this. I hate the lemon one. And now here they are with Gordie Howe, who's like hockey royalty. And they did it. They put this stupid ass leprechaun on his card. And you only purchased it for me to make my life miserable.
Yes, I did.
Yes. So it's a stupid, ridiculous, ugly, dumb ass card that I now own and am forced to look at. And it is ridiculously silly.
I must say, Brandon, I regret nothing.
I appreciate the leprechaun. I mean, my little brother was born on St. Patrick's Day.
Nice.
I see nothing wrong here. I think it's a well thought out, mythical, one of one of Gordie Howe. And Eric, you should be more appreciative.
Ungrateful swine. Unbelievable.
Jeez.
Unbelievable. Paul here chimes in. Whoa. Stupid ass leprechaun. Teapot calling the kettle black. Damn.
I'm gonna strangle him in like 3 days.
All right. So you tried to fight the Shriners and it didn't work out. You tried to fight Dan from Saugus and it didn't work out. And now you're trying to pick fights with Paul and other men of peace.
I also fought Matt from Providence. That didn't work out.
Yep. And then if the time is right, you're going to fight the law, and the law won. Think about it.
Oh boy.
Speaking of men of peace, Kelly Rudy. Brandon.
So I figured since we were approaching the Expo, it was only appropriate to go with a hockey card this week. And as silly as the image is, I have to give the defender, and my apologies, I know it's a whaler, but I don't know exactly who the player is, so my apologies. But this is some creative defense, because if he ripped one right now and his teammate took a shot, there is no way that goalie is getting it. Like, none. So I appreciate the effort here by the Hartford Whaler.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that is.
This is what Carlos would call strategery.
Strategery.
There is some strategery there. No question. No doubt. So in this case, I'm not officially conceding this week, but at the same time, Eric, I had been saving this one for a while. Both of those, I think, like the first one, honestly, I just think is a beautiful card. It's a spectacular card. I think this Kelly Rudy, though, definitely meets the standard and expectations when we're talking about Kelly Rudy. That's all I'm saying. Silly card of the week, I like it. Eric heard rip one and assumed Bobbles meant farting. Could be. So this last one, Brandon, It's not as silly as some examples that we're going to have, but Brandon, it's thematically appropriate. It is right now, especially this past weekend. This individual was my spirit animal.
Yeah.
T-Mac.
And it's Opeachy.
And it's Opeachy.
Everything's
It all comes
Yes.
and it all comes together. You see that face on Jim Acker's face?
Yeah.
That right there. That Eric, that was this weekend.
That sums up Blue Jays Nation right now.
Yeah, just
That sums it up.
but at least it's Opeachy.
Yes, it is Opeachy. Everything's Opeachy.
It is Opeachy. Jim Acker, 1992, Opeachy. And there it is. Silly card of the week. I'll get
Did
all
they
those
do
put up on the-
Opeachy Gold?
No.
Oh.
They didn't get around to it that year. That would have been good. I actually opened a box of 92 Opeachy. They're actually really nice cards. I do like them. And they're not some of the earlier Opeachys actually do sell for a pretty good premium. 1992 they still printed a fair bit of it. And 1992 was the first year they started making Premier. Sorry, no, I think they had Premier in 91 as well. But regardless, within 91 or 92 they started making Premier, and then by 93 Opeachy had its own unique design. They actually had its own, so it wasn't just a kind of a parallel of tops. So from 93 forward, it was its own thing, and then they went from there because 94 was completely different, 93 was completely different. They just changed it up. Yes, Eric.
So,
I saw the smirk developing, so I assumed you had something going on in that noodle of yours.
yeah. So I'm about to set myself up for trouble.
Go
Okay.
on.
I have written.
I am
out-
here to inflict pain. That is all I want. Bobbles, that's
So
all I live for.
we're
now.
live. We're live. Okay.
We are.
I have just written out a lengthy text message to Marcel. I am going to hit send.
Apologizing in advance?
Yes, I'm going to hit send live, and we'll see if he texts me back. And if he does text me back, will it say who dis?
I actually think it would be more embarrassing if it says failed to send or something like that because you're blocked.
No. I actually think the best possible response would be like, "Yet I know who you are, Eric, and I'm watching the show."
Yeah, it's horrible.
I'd be like,
Here we go. We'll see if he texts me back. If he says who dis,
Who dis?
or if he says please do not contact
I
me.
really hope it's somebody that asks you to go to the store and get like gift cards.
"That'd be amazing. That'd be great." He's like, "Also, give me your social insurance number."
Yeah.
Paul here says,
Right, here we go. Here
Go
goes
ahead.
the finger.
"Yeah, Paul is here saying the whaler
It
is
has been said.
Chris Govaderas. Played 45 games in the NHL across 4 years. Nice, Paul. Nice.
And he had a hell of a card. Well, on Kelly Rudy's card.
That sounds vaguely SP signature legendish. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, just for that
sounds like
move alone, if that was his creative play and it scored goals, I think he deserved more than 45 games. He might have got a couple of goalie sticks up the ass though, and maybe that cut his career short, but you know.
Mm-hmm. My good here. Good evening. I saw in the chat, Eric was a Shriner star. That was Dan. Dan's Vintage Baseball PC being very nice to him. Does that mean he's made peace? Oh, Eric never makes peace.
I don't have
He's not a man of
problem-
peace.
I don't have a problem with Dan's vintage baseball cards. It's the other Dan that I'm at war with. I don't have any issue. Dan, vintage baseball cards, wonderful man, very generous gift giver. Ray Bork rookie.
Who is Dan's vintage baseball cards?
That's
Known associate of Dan from Saugus.
Is he connected with Dan's vintage baseball PC?
Eric's had a lot of concussions. Plus, he fought Shriners.
and they're hard to catch because they're in those little stupid cards.
Mm-hmm. I think they headbutted you with the Fez hat, and you still don't remember what happened. I think you're trying to tell yourself a story.
There was a lot of them walking around in those things.
I'd like to
Look,
see Eric in one of those hats.
That'd be nice.
Interesting.
Look, all I'm going to say is I'm going to ask around. I know a few people that are out there by the Shriner show, and we're going to find out, again, going back to what we talked about earlier tonight from tonight's theme. What we're going to find out is that, yeah, Eric kept trying to threaten the Shriners, but every single time he just kept walking around and kind of like staying at a certain distance. It's like, oh, what did it look like? Oh, it looked like a baseball fight. Basically, that's all Eric could do. He just kind of hovered around. And then the rest of the time, he just stood in a corner and said, I am a goaltender. Nothing will get by me. He just kept waiting for someone to come by. Kept waiting. He didn't move for hours. It was wild. Get one of those hats and some symbols. Yes.
I know, little monkey.
That could be your next gimmick, Eric. I'm not saying AI can make this happen for us, but it might.
Oh,
Eric
that's
looked like the Shockmaster.
that's not good.
Shockmaster would be amazing.
Yeah.
There you go. Hello, gentlemen. I will hopefully see you at the expo. Is Carlos printing off Mr. Tickle Trunk cards for Eric to sign? Oh, we have the Mr. Tickle Trunk. That sign exists.
Oh my good God.
Well, actually, no. Hold on. The Tickle Trunk one, I've got the image, Brandon. I didn't get around to. I've got the Marcel sign, the Marcel Mayo sign. That's a great one. And then I have the infamous mayonnaise connoisseur. That one exists as well. That's a good one. But the Tickle Trunk one would make a pretty good alternative as well. That'd be a pretty good solid option.
Creator. A creator card.
Yeah. Exactly. We got the Tickle Trunk in the corner, and then Eric's right there. The man who invented the Tickle Trunk and brought it into parlance. See, I was going to play the theme song, but at this point, we're already 36 minutes in, so I don't think there's any point. I'll put it in post. Put it in post. Yeah, I'll put it in post. We're doing it live, so we may as well. The other thing I was going to say real quick, before we get into talking about the Becketts, because we'll talk about that for a minute as well. I think would make sense. Let me see here. Carlos, will you and the crew do a live show from the expo? It will be the same time as all Friday night shows. So the short answer, Mike, right now is I don't know. The plan, the thought process. Right now, all the plans are coalescing. All I know for sure is that at some point I'm going to be hanging out with Brad, probably after we get away from Eric, and I know Bobby wants to avoid Montana's like the plague, which means I kind of want to go to Montana's just to drive Bobby crazy because it'd be funny. We haven't decided. I know whenever we figure I'll pick one of the nights. Friday's usually good, but it just depends on where you're going. The key is where you're having dinner, when you're having dinner, and where you are at the time you're having dinner. And Brandon, you're going to see that's part of the reason I like the hotel that we ended up choosing is because it's got the restaurant and bar downstairs. So it's a hell of a lot easier to just go there, relax. You don't have to rush out and find a bunch of places. A lot of us that are staying in the hotel already, it's a lot easier to just be there, enjoy our dinner, enjoy our drinks, watch a game or whatever's on. And then, boom, if anybody wants to go, well, then you can just go up to your room. And for me, it's just connecting my laptop and getting my stuff set. I got a microphone. I've got all the different connectors and everything. It's just me getting myself situated. And it's just connecting online. So right now, tentatively, Mike, I want to do the Friday. It might be a little later than normal because I don't want to rush dinner. It just depends on what time we have dinner. I also don't plan to stay until the very end of the show days because it doesn't make sense to do so. And I'm also going to hang out with my buddy Steve for one of those nights. He may join us or there may be some combination therein. I think Brandon was going to be fun, and I'll talk about the expo here at the end a little bit. What's going to be fun is doing the intros. I'm not talking about like Eric's intros where he shows you who all the janitors are and calls them all Peter Forsberg. I mean like intros with like real people. That'll be good. So Bob Jackson says, may you all have a good time at Expo. Thank you, Bob.
I will not.
Appreciate you. Oh, almost forgot. I was going to do the pickups, so I may as well. All right, so I did already allude to it. Let me see here. Did you? Oh, you sent 7 photos. Jeez. Oh yeah. I know what you got here. Okay, so give me a minute, and I'll show that in here in a second. So I'll just do this quick. I already showed this one off anyway, and but now I've got it in hand. So Eric, you want to tell what people this is, other than 2 people who've never seen a fight in their lives?
Oh God. So this is a Be a Player card of Marcel and Reggie, and it is celebrating Marcel's 600th goal, and he happened to have scored it on Reggie while he was playing for Calgary. And I think the date actually is on there. Yeah. So
December 15th, 1984.
Yep. So you got a piece of Marcel's Kings jersey up in the yellow, and you got a piece of Reggie's stick below that. And I saw that on the eBays a week or so ago, got in touch with Carlos and said, I'm willing to pay this much. Please get it for me and have it and give it to me at the show. And I gave him this enormous number that he could go up to. And
mega bid.
It didn't even crack half of that. So.
Not so much, no. It was not necessary.
Fine with me. So I have a Marcel and Reggie card which I'm excited about because obviously I have a connection to both. So
So that was from Slab Sharks. So as part of that, and I'll give a quick story about it. So let me show the other card. So this was the other one that I bought.
nice.
So we got an honors there. This one's from the Leaf era, still part of it, but another autograph for the collection. So, but one thing I will say, Brandon, and the Slapshot guy got to get fixed this on their end. The reality is that supposedly, if you buy two things within like 3 days of each other, they're supposed to combine the shipping. I sent them like 5 messages over like 3 days, and I'll be like, because what I did is I bought Eric's thing first. I noticed the Medano thing a couple of hours later when I bought, because I wasn't expecting to buy anything from their auction that week. So I bought his thing and I literally paid for it on the spot because that was all I was expecting to buy anyway. So I said, all right, I already paid for this. But I'm literally like, hey guys, I have, and when I saw the other one, I was like, okay, I won it. And then I said, hey guys, I won the second auction from the exact same week of law auctions. You know, can you combine it? Crickets. I get an automated message saying, you know, within a couple of days, wait for the invoice. I get an invoice. It's 2 separate invoices. I send another message. Can you combine it? Can you combine it? Like I tried 3 or 4 times, and then finally, I ended up paying the shipping full twice, and I got it in the same envelope, by the way. So I'm sitting there like, so you were able to put it in the same envelope? You figured it out? So I'm gonna have to ping him after and go, hey, so
Did they send you a partial refund or anything?
Nope, not a damn thing.
Yeah, see, I even do that. I don't have it set up to where, like, if people buy multiple things, that it
The thing is
combines.
that's what I've done in the past. If
Yeah.
somebody bought a couple of things and then after the fact go, hey, sorry, I saw this other stuff. Could you put it in the same? If I can put it in the same packaging or box or
Yeah, I
whatever,
send the people.
I'll be like, dude, yeah, I'll refund the other one. It's not a big deal.
I do it even
Whatever.
if they don't mention it, just because I think
Yeah.
it's better business that way.
Yeah.
You know, I'll send them a partial refund back. But
Yeah. And the reality is, to be clear, I know they do a lot of auctions. I know they're super busy. So that's why I gave them a couple of days. I was like, you know, hey, and I sent multiple messages. So and then obviously in the end, they sent it in one envelope. So they figured it out. So it's in the like, so you know that I'm the same person who bought both of these things. Like,
they thought that you meant just combine the shipping.
yeah,
you.
right. Exactly. There you go. Mike says, should we start the pump now? Always, buddy. Always. Paul here says, celebrating Reggie getting lit up. That's the most Eric thing I've ever heard. Eric has a masochist complex.
How long did that take? Eric, thanks. He is my friend. I knew it.
Oh, he's talking about the tech. Brandon, I literally had no idea what he was talking about.
I didn't hear what he
literally-
said either. I just seen he was.
Yeah,
cheering
no, he
when
said,
you
how long
said
did that take? And I was
something
literally
about
like,
complex.
I was, that's all I got. And then all of a sudden he's talking about it. Now, did you double check that it was actually Marcel and not Peter Forsberg? And that, thank you, Eric, is not, please leave me alone. I'm a man with a mop. Just leave me be.
He didn't answer any of my questions. Okay. Because I asked him like 3, actually, I think I asked him one main question and then a couple of kind of questions. And he just went, Eric, thanks. I'll take it.
Eric was like, what is your name? What is your quest? What is your favorite color?
What was your first pet's name? What was your mother's maiden name?
Answer me, Marcel. Answer me. Josh here says, Eric, you have a great time at Expo. I have a couple of items that you enjoy. Yes, he does. He does. Simon says, the Medano auto looks awesome. Yeah, I think they did a good job on these. So, Brandon, I love the fact that because, you know, the unlicensed thing, like, I got this for like $40 or $35. Like, they're
Can't
dirt
beat that.
cheap, these things. Yeah, so I was like, it is technically numbered. It's numbered out of 25. But I'm like, whatever. Sure. I like having the auto for the collection. And here's the thing. I don't like BGS slabs. But when it's just included as part of the thing, because Leaf was doing this and in the game was doing this, I'm like, it's fine. I've got literally a 2-row that I put these in, and they all go together. So they just sit in that 2-row, and I just fill it up.
Eric, do you know how to crack those type of slabs? Because I'm sure you're gonna want to get the 2 guys to sign that card, right?
I've never cracked any slabs. I've always been very nervous about that. And I don't know. We'll see.
I have
Well,
an
if you
idea.
want it cracked, I can help you up
Get
there.
it done, obviously, but I don't know. We'll see.
I think Brandon's going to have a very professional way of doing it, but if we want to do something for science, I have a better idea. Brandon, what I'm thinking is
Yeah.
we tape it to your forehead. We'll
Ooh,
rent you a
on the bike.
bicycle. We'll rent you a bicycle.
Yeah.
And we'll test the amount of speed required to shatter it.
No
let nature
helmet,
take its course.
just a slab.
The slab is the helmet. Those things are hard, man. Like, that's pretty solid. Like, pretty good. Just saying. He's basically invincible. Like, honestly, he can go straight in oncoming traffic and go straight the other way. I dare you to hit me. I'm invincible. I can see nothing could possibly go wrong. Simon says, "Go to the Slapsharks booth at the Expo. We'll have to see. I'll definitely follow up with them now that I know they were able to send it in the one. It's like, hey, clearly you figured this part out. Can I have my shipping back? I don't need to pay shipping twice just for you to send me one. Brandon, you know, I've had some sellers who decided to be jerks about this, and I just said, fine. You want to do it that way? Then you send me 2 envelopes.
Yeah,
You make if I'm paying 2 shippings, Eric, then you send me 2 envelopes.
Yeah.
I want double the envelopes. I want double the shipping from your end. You do the whole work then. Don't skip out.
Yeah. If I'm paying for something, I want the service.
Yeah, I want the whole thing. Next up, Eric buys a Bill Buckner glove from the World Series. Yes.
That's not funny.
You didn't ask him in blah blah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Blue blah blah. I didn't.
Parlez-vous français?
I didn't ask him a blue blah blah. I
Shameful.
gotta get Yannick to help me do that.
Suggestion Paul thinks that Josh might have planned for you. Possible. Bob Jackson. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? You got it. You know what I'm saying.
I do.
Carlos, just get a hammer and let's crack it on air live. Is the card still attached to Eric? Because that's really important to my whole plan. Stay with me, Mike. Stay with me. There's a specific strategy that I'm employing here. I'm doing this for us all. I'm doing it for the content gods. I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for Brand. I'm doing it for Eric's family. And most importantly, I am doing it as vengeance because now everyone must pay.
Well, don't forget you're doing it for Beckett.
Absolutely.
Showing the
Yeah.
quality and the structure
It's true. It's
of
important.
their plastic.
Yep. It was actually funny, Eric. As part of the conversations I was having, the text message conversations the last day or so, a lot of people are like, it's like, Carlos, you don't seem to be like explosively angry anymore. No, I'm now into seething. And seething can last a really long time. Do you know what the half-life on seething is, Brandon? A very long time. There's some nuclear materials that have a shorter half-life than the seething that I'm gonna have going on for a while.
Yeah, I'm sure the atmosphere up there would be a lot different if you guys had pulled that out. Hopefully, there's been enough days since that people won't be so. It's going to be a tough one to swallow, no matter what. But yeah,
Well,
I guess
the good news.
the town's used to the Maple Leafs, so
Well, here's the thing, though. A lot of people tried to use the comparison to the Maple Leafs, and the problem is it doesn't work because
no.
the Jays won a Game 7 to get there.
Yeah,
The Leafs don't win the Game 7. It doesn't matter what round it is. It can be the first round they lose.
I didn't actually realize. I was looking at it earlier. The Dodgers had only lost 1 game going into y'all series.
Yeah.
That's kind of stupid considering they even played the wild card round. You guys had to go 7 with Seattle,
Mhm.
and then you technically had went 8 with the Dodgers, 8+ because you had the 18-inning game. So nobody, as a Toronto fan, it sucks to swallow the loss. But I think that team needs to hold their head high because nobody had them even competing. And y'all had it up to 2 outs. And the other thing, when you were mentioning that home run, that dude had never hit a home run all season off a right-hander.
I know.
That's just stupid how it all played out. But
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like I said, the bigger issue. So there's 2 categories. There is the bandwagon fans, because for them it's disappointing, but at the same time they'll just get on about they'll get on to complaining about the Leafs. It takes about 24 hours, and then you start complaining about the Leafs.
hockey season started. Yeah.
Because for the last several weeks, a lot of people didn't even realize the Maple Leafs still existed or were even playing. They were like, they're still playing games, because even in where Edmonton, where Connor McDavid was playing one of the games, they were showing the World Series on the screen while the hockey game was going on. And a lot of people were not even paying attention to the hockey game. They were literally watching the baseball game because it's a regular season hockey game. Who gives a shit? You're actually watching a championship up on the screen. And then McDavid, in between periods when he's on the bench, he was actually watching the game too, even while he's playing the game. So the attention was diverted. So the Maple Leafs actually had cover. So any games they lost during that period, nobody was noticing. Now all of a sudden they're like, "Oh crap, we don't have a camouflage anymore." So anyway, real quick. So the issue that the reason why I say now for the more hardcore baseball fans, the ones who actually followed the team all the time and were part of it, the part that's egregious, Brandon. And I don't know if you heard any of the stats. So obviously, when the series is over, you can see what the final stats look like, how it all played out. So I clipped this from an article. I was going to do a video about it, but I decided not to because I would still be seething about it. So in the article, they say, who the better team was may have been subjective, but what's objectively true is that in a relatively low-scoring 7-game series, the Dodgers were outscored 34-26. They were also out-hit. The Blue Jays recording a team average of 264. The Dodgers hit 203 in that series. In fact, the Dodgers recorded the lowest batting average of any World Series winning team since 1966, when the Baltimore Orioles faced the Dodgers and batted 200 in sweeping 4 games.
Yeah, it was crazy how
So they out-hit them, out-pitched them, and outscored them.
Yep.
And I needed someone who remained nameless to take one step closer to home plate. So bottom line though, Brandon, so my big issue, I'm not going to spend any more time lamenting it too much right now tonight, but I will say my biggest issue, Brandon, the part that sticks in my craw, that leaves a sour taste in my mouth of the whole thing, is that I actually really like this group of players. I like this combination. And I like, to your point, Max Scherzer didn't have a successful regular season, but he still contributed. Ernie Clement, nobody had him on the bingo card doing anything. He set the record for postseason hits. I can't count on that again. We had the Savage moment. There's no guarantee that it'll even be good after this. This was a really brief moment in time where he was great. He wasn't just good; he was great. We had to tell Brad not to go fully Savage. We don't know what next season. We don't know what next season will be. He probably did, but we don't know what next season is going to bring. There's no guarantee that any of these components fit again.
Right.
By the way, Bo Bichette is a free agent. Ernie Clement's a free agent. Like a bunch of these guys are all going to be moving on. Some of them will stick around, some of them will go, but you won't get this combination again, and you won't necessarily have all the things that fell into place to allow it to be possible to get to that spot. So even if you go back, even if you get some more people to fill in some of the gaps, doesn't mean the team will necessarily be better. This team gelled beautifully down the stretch, and you can't buy that. To be honest, if the Dodgers had been a better team, they would have won easily.
Yeah.
They were a bunch of extremely talented players, but that's why they struggled so badly when the other team was actually playing like a team. That's why they weren't able to beat them easily. So Paulie here says, the text probably went like this: Marcel, I love you. The response: thanks, Eric. I don't love you back. Now stop stalking me.
I'm not saying that didn't happen, but I'm not saying that it did.
Indeed.
I just think it's funny that I asked him a couple of questions and he didn't answer me. He just, thanks, Eric.
Well, like the rest of us, he doesn't actually listen to you. Policy.
Yeah, I kind of think I'm getting that impression.
Yep. Paulie says, I still can't watch any highlights. Don't worry, man. Just don't. It will make you very bitter unnecessarily. There's no reason to. I will say this, Brandon. I got to tell you, like I said, I will keep an eye on it later on from a distance. I can't watch a single game of the regular season next year. It's a waste of my time. Like I'm not like it's not going to be worthwhile because I'm not going to care about any of those games. Until we get to the playoffs, it's relevant. That's why I struggle with a lot of the regular season. Football is the only one I can watch the regular season for, just because you got less games. So it's a lot easier to kind of pay attention to it.
I'll watch it some just because, well, obviously my team has a lot of young players, so I like, and we're not making the postseason. So if I want to watch my team play, it has to be the regular season.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I might do, one thing I will do though, and I'll tell you this, I'll commit to this now, is I want to renew my ticket to the Toronto Maple Leafs baseball team. Okay. Because that was a good deal, and I actually really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. And
minor league baseball is awesome.
Yeah, I still love the sport, but like this one hurts. But again, I like this team. Those players and that combination, I liked it. I think they did great, and I'm not mad at them. Well, I'm mad at one guy. I'm mad at one guy specifically. What? Well, no, I'm mad at two guys. I'm mad at my counterfeit Hoffman too. If it was Trevor, this wouldn't have been a problem. The Hoffman I have was not Trevor. I had the other guy. Did I mention they paid him $33 million to literally blow the World Series?
You might have brought that up a little bit.
$11 million a year, and he's got 2 more years. That's my closer. Bob Jackson says, what is more egregious, the pass by the Seahawks or the lead at third base? So, in a vacuum, the pass by the Seahawks is more egregious because it is one singular moment right at the end of a football game. But this one is in combination to a couple of missed opportunities before, right after, and also you had a chance to win that right before that. And then you also had a chance to win it right after that. So the combination of all these things, it's the literally you're pouring on all these things all at once. So you're mixing and matching.
When I seen the video of the, like, because I watched the video of the play and I took a screenshot and posted it in the Discord.
Yeah.
What stood out to me was, okay, guys sometimes will stay close to the bag because they don't want to get picked off or whatever. But Muncy wasn't covering third base at all. Like, he could have easily gotten a pretty significant lead, and it made no sense to me why he was so close to the bag. I just didn't understand it. Like,
yep.
And the base coach should have been right there and been like, hey, get a good lead. But
yeah. Well, no, his excuse, the excuse from the player was that he said that they told him to watch for the double up just in case they didn't want to get doubled up. But I go, so they want him to be conservative. But there's a difference between conservative and like you're literally right beside the bag. Like you're not, you didn't go anywhere. You may as well have been standing on the bag then if you're going to be that conservative.
right.
So that's the dead issue. That's right there. That's right there.
Right there.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Always go with your best pitch in full count. Yes. Is he Savage next time Van Poppel? Well, I think it would need a little bit more hype. We didn't have enough time to hype him to make him the next time. We'll see how the next season goes. Here's what's funny. I don't need him. The reason why I always caution, part of the reason I have fun cautioning, and we have the rule. Part of the reason I always caution about these, we joked about the Savage thing, is because the rule is don't go full Manoah. Because we had an example right there. We have Alek Manoah who had this issue. And before him, we had Ricky Romero. So any Jays fan who remembers Ricky Romero was very good for like 3 seasons and then fell off the floor. It happens. Sometimes a pitcher has it for a little while. Marcus Stroman was a good pitcher for a couple seasons, but he was a bit of a head case, but he had a couple of good seasons. So the thing is, even if a pitcher's good, that doesn't mean it's long-term. It doesn't mean maybe, let's say he comes back next year and has a great season. That doesn't mean he'll have a great season in 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. So in the long run, what does that do for you? What you're looking for is you kind of want to take advantage of the one time. I'll give you a perfect example on the other side of the equation since Brandon brought it up. His Nationals, when they had their big moment, Strasburg had this weird history where he had gotten injured. They shut him down before a playoff 1 year before that. But during that playoff year, he pitched great. He won the World Series MVP, I think. I believe he won the World Series MVP.
Yep.
He did nothing after that. Like after that, he was basically done. Like he got hurt and there was a bunch of weirdness with it.
I don't even think, don't quote me on this, but I don't know that he pitched 9 innings after the World Series. He signed the big contract.
Yeah.
And then it's actually kind of a bad story, but he had a nerve issue. And so he wound up having to retire. But he got a massive contract. And I don't even know if he might have pitched 9 innings after the contract and everything. It's kind of a scenario, like looking at it as a Nationals fan. It was a weird period. We lost a lot of players. The team, the front office had to make a decision on him or Anthony Rendon. They chose Strasburg. Obviously, we've seen Rendon go to the Angels. He's hardly played. People hate him out there. And then Strasburg had to retire because of the nerve thing. So they were damned if they did, damned if they didn't, and it didn't work out either way. So
I've got it in front of me. So that World Series season, he went 18-6 and actually led the league in wins. Wins the World Series MVP, so very good. Excellent. Leads the league in innings pitched, 209 innings pitched.
Yeah,
So
he
for
had a
that
hell
one
of a year.
season, for that one season, it was very durable. Gets the MAGA contract. Next season, he pitches 5 innings. Next season, he pitches 21 2/3. Then the last season of his career, he pitches 4 2/3, and that's the rest of his career. That's it.
So it's like 27 innings, something like
It's
that.
about 38, 30 innings.
Yeah, it,
for the next
it
3
wasn't
seasons.
much.
Yeah,
It
but
wasn't
what I'm
much.
getting at, the reason I'm pointing this out though, is you still caught lightning in a bottle. You still got the one World Series out of it. So for a lot of Nationals fans, like, well, you know what? At that point, fuck it. I don't care. You're paying him for who cares? Because you got the thing you wanted.
Yeah,
You got
and
the win. And then after that, it's like, that's unfortunate, but insurance will take care of that.
he was massive because he came out of the pen and everything and helped. Like, it was one of those situations where our bullpen basically sucked. We had good starters, we had decent closer, but the middle part of it. So we were like Patrick Corbin. He was coming out of the pen, did great, and then he went to shit. So it was a weird scenario, but yeah, he got paid and then wound up having to retire. So
Yep. The moral of that story though is that sometimes when you catch lightning in the bottle, you just have to take it. If you happen to just so happen to land, but pitching is so erratic, it's so random. Now, not that I would ever wish that on anyone, Eric, but Yamamoto pitched lights out in that World Series, and if his arm was to say fall off next season, if you hear cackling off in the distance, it wasn't me. I just want to make clear it's not me.
well, his arm might fall off because I have a feeling that Fanatics Tops is going to have this dude signing for the whole off season. So he might have carpal tunnel. He might have blisters on his fingers. Like, they're going to take every advantage they can. I mean, look at all the Tops Now cards they made. I've never seen them make that many Tops Now cards for a World Series.
As the great philosopher King Drago once said, if he dies, he dies.
Yeah, they're gonna milk that.
May as well. Let's see. Mike here says, bases loaded, no outs. After that, I had to change the channel. I got you. Yeah, I changed the channel after the top of the next inning. The lead at third isn't the part that annoys me the most. Simon says, why did he slide instead of running through home plate? Yeah. There's actually science that sliding feet first actually slows you down. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh.
So it's like so put it this way, Brandon. It's a combination of 2 base stealing errors in the same play. A bad lead, and then a slide that actually is less efficient. A slide that actually slows you down. And again, you didn't need
Especially
a lot extra.
on home plate.
Yeah, it was a force play. You don't need, you just run through it. It would have been a better call. Bob Jackson said that's on the coaches. Then yeah, exactly. So that's why reason why I say, like, with pitching though, you can't expect, because this franchise, the best pitcher they ever had aside from Dave Stieb was Roy Halladay, but he was more of an anomaly. He was almost like an accident. That doesn't happen normally. The rest of the time, it's like, no, there's some good players, but it's not always going to work out that way. All right, so we got 7 items here. Jeez. Okay. And now once I pull these up here, Brandon. So this is kind of an extension of the pickups, because Brandon's pickups are not exactly card related.
No, they're not card related at all.
Yep. Yeah.
And they're on hold. I don't have them in. That's why I shared photos. I have them on hold from shipping.
There you go. All right. So real quick, I'll show one quick pickup for myself, and then I'll show what Brandon's got here. So I did pick up one item here for the little run. So this is a 2019 Topps Chrome, the negative refractor. So I actually had all the non-numbered versions of Vladdy's refractors back in the day. And the thing is, I actually sold them all when they were still selling for a lot. I had a copy of the negative refractor in a PSA 10, and I think I sold it for $400 or $500.
Do you have this one by chance?
Not that specific one, no.
Okay. This is a set variation, and it's also got the All-Star stamp. I'll bring it up with me for you.
Sounds good. Thank you. But yeah, so what I wanted to do, and this Eric plays into kind of our discussion about collecting. Okay. I actually had a PSA 10, but I sold it when they were still going for good money. Yep. For good money, because if I figured at some point I would just buy back a 9, which is what I did. And this one I got for a fraction, maybe like 1/5 or 1/6 of what I
His
sold
stuff
the
is
other copy for.
down for
It is.
especially for the playoff run. His stuff is affordable.
Yeah. But then I also bought it in a 9 to even make it a little more affordable. Because in reality, I don't need a 10. It's just for my collection. What do I need a 10 for? It's just for me to have one. So I'll
And
probably pick up the other ones after the fact.
to show how long it's been since 2019, and obviously we had all the pandemic chaos run after that.
Mhm.
I was on looking at Vladdy's stuff and like his prices and everything. I completely forgot that he had the short print, not so short printed Topps Series 2 no number card. I completely forgot he had that. And I was on there looking, and that thing used to be pretty big, and it's relatively affordable. So
Yeah.
I was shocked that his prices didn't move much with the playoff run he had.
Yep. No, I'm with you. Mike says, sweet Vlad, thank you. Refractor Jones is here. Good evening, Refractor Jones. Yeah, I know IKF is the easy target, but the calls behind the plate was less than average, more below to be exact. That changed a lot of the at bats. So I agree with you. I don't disagree with anything you said. To be clear, in any game, any series, there's a lot of components that go together that can change outcome of games. The reason why IKF here is going to get a lot of the blame for this is because that specific play would have ended the series. That's the key for all the other mistakes. And again, I'm not letting Hoffman off the hook because again, they could have won in the 9th inning, in the top of the 9th, if he gets the 2 outs, right? So that's all true, Brandon. But that mistake didn't end the game. And IKF's mistake didn't end the game technically either, but it could have ended the game. It literally could have ended the game had he executed it.
The Hoffman thing, he had 2 strikes on that batter too, 2 outs away and 2 strikes.
Yeah, we were hoping for like I'm sitting there watching it and I'm hoping for like, no, I need an out pitch. I want you to put. The problem is he threw too many balls in that at bat as well. It was a full count. Yep. So the reality is he didn't want to give up a walk and then have to pitch to Ohtani. Ironically, outside of one game, Ohtani hit like 213. So like he literally didn't do well against anybody for the majority of the series except for game 3. So it's like, oh well. But anyway, all right. So I've got your items here queued up. I want to show a little. We're gonna do a little show and tell here because Brandon's got a couple of things. This is not your conventional kind of item. They are collectibles, but it's a different kind of item here.
Yeah, I went on Heritage. I've never bought anything off of any of the auction sites or anything, but I'm a big fan of The Walking Dead, and they had a massive auction of used items and everything for the 15th anniversary. And so I got on, was looking at stuff. I had a couple targets, and then I wound up going back and buying a couple more things. So if you go to the picture below this one.
Yep.
So this was one grouping that I picked up. And as you notice, that's a state of Virginia map there, along with like a couple letters, the necklace piece, another map. But the Virginia map is what caught my eye, and that's what the zoomed in picture is. So if you go back to the first picture there.
Yep, there you go.
So the dark route that they had like mapped out on the map, that's actually Route 29 in Virginia. I travel that road all the time. And then I caught that the towns that they had circled, well, as you can see there, one of the towns they circled is Culpeper. I happen to live in Culpeper, Virginia. So when I seen that, I was like, yeah, there's no way in hell I can not buy this. So that was one of the lots that I picked up. And then the arm and the claw thing, they kind of go together. This is from Fear the Walking Dead. Pretty much the main character, Alicia, later in the show, she has to amputate her own arm. And so this is the prosthetic that they made. And the significance to this is it was made by Greg Nicotero and his team. And I was noticing that any item that Nicotero and his group had made was going for a pretty significant amount of money. And I don't know if people just didn't look and read about this posting here, but this one slipped through the cracks. Nobody placed a bid on it. So I actually picked it up after the auction on a buy it now price. You can kind of notice there in the elbow, there's like tubes where they could, do the effects with the blood and the ooze and all that.
Oh,
and then the little hand, the claw thing under it, that also came with this lot, which is like the weapon that she attached to it after she amputated, and that was like her way of killing the zombies and everything. Yeah, that piece
That's pretty cool.
there. So that's actually made out of resin and everything. That's the little weapon after she amputated herself that she used to defend herself. Then the next piece, this is actually the most expensive piece that I got. I didn't break it down in all the different pictures, but this is the outfit. If you watch the show, Lori, who was Rick's wife, she was pregnant, and during the C-section, when she was giving birth, she died. It was a very significant turning point in the show, and this is actually the outfit that she wore when that scene was filmed, the C-section and all that. It includes a locket that has Rick and Carl's picture in it, and then it also, you can't really tell in the picture, but it has the fake like pregnancy belly suit thing. So this was another one. I couldn't believe nobody bought it because it literally is the death ensemble. And so it just kept eating at me because I knew how significant that moment was in the show. And so I went ahead and pulled the trigger on that. And yes, if anybody's curious, I do plan to get a mannequin that it can be displayed on. So I've already thought about that because I was like, we had discussed like how do you display the clothes or whatever. But it looks like the standing mannequins are fairly reasonable. So
Okay.
all right, so the final two pieces are the two pieces that I initially targeted for several reasons. This is the Atari. Again, if you watched when Eugene got captured by Negan, taken back to his encampment, Negan gives him this room that's all decked out. One of the items in it is Atari. Negan sends in a couple of his wives to make Eugene feel comfortable and everything. And while they're there, the whole time, he's playing the Atari, he's playing Yar's Revenge. The games are also included. So I felt this was not only a significant piece to the show, but there's video game collectors, and who the hell really doesn't know what an Atari is? So I thought that was a pretty cool piece to pick up. And then the final one there, you can see in the picture, this is a Gen 1 iPod. And this is the one that everybody that's a fan of the show instantly recognized. This was the season 7 finale when Sasha decides to take the cyanide pills, when Negan's taking her back to Alexandria in the coffin, and she's listening to music while she's in there and on the ride and everything. And then, of course, when they get there, he opens the coffin up and she's turned into a zombie and tries to kill Negan. So that's also another piece that was significant from the show. And that was the piece I didn't think I would be able to even win. So I'm pretty pumped that I was able to get it. Heritage is a different ball game. I mean, when you're in auctions, some of them are going 6 figures. I wasn't quite used to the buyer's premium. That's pretty pricey. However, I want to mention, Carlos was talking about Slab Sharks and their combining shipping. Everything here that I purchased, it only cost me $41 shipping. That's insured and everything. So I was kind of surprised at that. But anyway, that's my pickups.
Now, secretly, Eric, I think it's number one. It's impressive that Brandon was able to give us all that detail, given that he talks about how he doesn't remember movie plots and that. But did you notice how much detail he was able to give us on all these items?
Sitting here listening, going, "How does he remember all this?"
Because I'm literally, I really enjoy that show. It takes a lot for me to get into TV and movies and stuff. I've rewatched most of the season again. Fear, I've started like rewatching and everything. The show, you know, a lot of people just look at it as zombies and all this stuff, but the message behind it is actually a lot deeper if you watch it.
Great show. Great show. I don't remember.
So
I've seen every single episode of the original series. Most of the episodes of the spin-offs. I do not understand how you can remember everything like that in detail, because I'm sitting here, you're telling me this stuff, and I'm trying so hard to remember. I remember when Lori died, it was like in a I think it was at the jail, right?
Yep, it was in the jail.
Like the boiler room or something of the jail or something.
Yep.
So I remember, and then she had the baby, and then they had to kill her so she wouldn't.
Carl did.
Right, Carl had to kill her, and yeah, I remember all of that. Now iPods and Ataris and cut off arms and
well, that's from Fear the Walking Dead. So that's one of the spinoff shows.
Yeah.
Now, Eric, hold on. I think it's important that we say this. To be fair. Number one, you've had a lot of concussions. So that's a critical piece that we have to factor in here.
I have had a lot of concussions.
And in that same vein, you don't even remember the star-making performance of Ray Bork as one of the zombies. Like, we showed you a picture with him.
Possible.
And, you can't even remember that Ray was in the show. And he
Ray
did great.
Not a zombie. Ray is not a zombie, was not a zombie, will not be a zombie. He's a very nice guy. And it's always a pleasure to work with him.
Hey, well, if you want him to be one for fun, Eric, you can go on eBay because some of the people who purchased a lot of the masks that were for sale have reposted them on eBay for a pretty hefty price. But they are wearable masks that were used in the show. And then you could have a picture with Ray wearing the mask.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could be the zombie too.
My goal is to someday be able to text Ray like I did Marcel and not call the police and have me arrested. So
he can't call the police and have you arrested. He doesn't know where you live.
So I am not going to participate in this Ray book is zombie stuff just in case it gets back to him.
Mm-hmm. And bottom line, though, I appreciate that Brandon gave us a very thorough and deep story on a lot of this. But I'll be honest with you. What I'm hearing is that he really wanted to play Frogger and he wanted to load up some of his tunes. He's got a lot of leftover MP3s from Kazaa. And guys, he finally has a player. Yes.
No, I mean, again, as a fan of the show, I've looked on eBay at like screen use stuff. My wife can attest to it. I get on there all the time looking, and it's always like pictures that were in the background. Like there was no significance to most of the items that ever become available. And I'll be honest, the Lori outfit was the most expensive piece. And even that, when you look at the cost of boxes today, it wasn't that much. And those are all one-of-a-kind items of, used in a show that is very popular, will lead on for, generations probably. And, I was like, hey, here's an opportunity. Why not? So
now imagine that that's the standard now we have to use, Eric. It's like, well, compared to boxes today, these television show props aren't so bad. And then
I literally talked to Refractor about it and told him, and I was like, yeah, the Atari, put it this way, the Atari and the iPod, it cost me about what 3 Topps Jumbo boxes cost me.
Scandalous. We should just use that as a measuring stick for all things, Eric. What happened? I filled up the tank of gas. What did that cost me? That probably cost me about 3 blasters.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a great way to measure, how expensive things are. I agree. Yeah. I'm all in on that.
Josh says, what's the better investment? Walking Dead show props versus kilts. This is the video that you can make, Brandon.
Yep.
As a subject matter expert and owner of both.
That is brilliant.
What if the kilts were to pay for the Walking Dead props?
You would have to sell the kilts.
But this might motivate me to do so.
I was going to say, Brandon, so far your kilt selling right now is ranking like NHL goalie laziness. Get off your ass and actually sell some.
That is true. But wait, so the Atari has a very important part.
That you can play Frogger, I know.
Eric told me not to buy it.
I want him to have a CRT so badly, Eric. I want him to play the Atari. I think it'd be amazing.
But it literally can go with the greatest freaking Atari game of all time.
Oh, no. I had that.
Graded.
Wait, why?
It was horrible.
Yes.
I had that.
Ugh. And why? Well, because, we have the story about the Mickey Mantles and the 52 Tops getting dumped in the ocean. They literally put on here about these being all disposed in the landfill.
'Cause
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
horrible.
I mean, it's a similar story. We got to give ET some credit. Just saying.
Mhm. I see. I see. Let's see here. Yeah, police aren't going to take calls from dead guys. Exactly. That's why Ray Bork's calls will be unheeded. Kidding me, Zach? Atari Tennis was the best game ever. There you go. Shout out for Atari Tennis. I like that. Paul says, I do appreciate a blaster box as a unit of value. Exactly what I'm saying.
Yep.
Dan's Vintage Baseball, good evening here. He says, is Isaiah Kiner Falifa signing autographs at the Expo? I think if he's smart, he's going on the Underground Railroad to work his way out. He's going to be, next week, he's going to be hiding in Eric's closet because that might be the safest place in the country for him. It's the best place for him to go. Also, Montreal had the Expo. It's not Toronto. Why is the show called the Expo if it's not Toronto? Like everything else, we just steal it.
Yeah.
Montreal guys actually did. The Montreal guys signed off on it. Unfortunately, they weren't able to read the contract because it's in English. And it says at the bottom, in perpetuity. And Eric knows how binding that is.
Yeah. I don't like that.
Just saying. Fractor here says, the iPod is the winner for me. Hopefully that playlist is intact also. That's what I'm saying, Brandon. I want tunes. I want to know what kind of tunes we got going on there.
Yeah,
It's
if it
important.
has the playlist from the show, that will be pretty significant if they left it on there. So,
Yep. Falsey here says, if Eric was a zombie, would we just use mayo? Mayo is his kryptonite in all situations. If he's a werewolf, we use mayo. If he's a zombie, we use mayo. If he's Eric, we use mayo.
You're not wrong.
it works.
You're
Yep.
not wrong.
In all scenarios. He might spontaneously combust. So that was our most, I hope you folks appreciate it, that was our most eclectic pickup segment. We had television show props on that one. That was a new one for us. Mix of stuff in hand, mix of stuff on the road, all kinds of stuff. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, so we got that covered. Let me go check here. Let me see. Talked about that. Okay, let's talk about Jimbo Beckett
Oh, good.
for a minute. I'll include a link in the description. He did his podcast episode, and he brought on P. Ryan Collection. So Patrick Ryan, P. Ryan Collection. He of the Shillbid, not Shillbid, Shillbid. And you gotta love good old Beckett. Did enjoy starting to talk semantics. He said, well, you know, there are definitions to this, and the definition is not, and then it's not about intention, and he literally, and I'm just like, oh my God, why are we doing this? It's not necessary. Let me quickly say off the top, and Eric, I've been consistent on this point.
Okay.
We can like someone in the hobby and not agree with things they're doing, and we don't need to defend them just as a matter of course. If they do something that is like, actually, I don't agree with that, we don't just need to defend them because, well, but we're friends, we're friendly, and maybe I should defend him, and I'll give him a platform to make his excuses and contradict himself on video because he gives one story one day and the other story the other day. And if I wanted to, I could play them back to back for you. And you notice the story changes a little bit each time, depending on the day of the week. But you see, Eric, it's not about the act of bidding on your own stuff. Although we have a rule about that. Just out of curiosity, what does the rule say? Because the rule is very succinct and to the point, Brandon. Very succinct and to the point.
Yes. Rule number 7 because Carlos rules.
Yes, please.
Thou shalt not bid on one's own shit.
I see. So Eric, it doesn't have a sub paragraph that says, it's okay to bid on your own shit. Like if you don't mean it, it's okay to bid on your own shit by accident. It's okay to bid on your own shit if it doesn't impact the final price. That there's no qualifiers. There's no fine print. Nothing.
Not bid on one's own shit.
Well, damn, Brandon, that's pretty clear cut and straightforward, isn't it?
I don't think that's just because I'm Carlos rule. I think that is a pretty much agreeable to the respectable hobby rule.
Oh, no. Dr. Beckett says no. Jimbo says no.
Well, then
Jimbo says Patrick Ryan did nothing wrong.
It was an accident.
He was being a scamp. He was just being a scamp.
Wait. So I don't remember who it was. There was someone that was frequented in the chat that would always throw up about Dave from SGC and his shenanigans shit that he did early on within the company.
Which he did, which is true.
Right, right.
Yeah, it is true.
Now should we have questions of maybe some shenanigans from Mr. Dr. Beckett?
So here's the funny thing. If you get a chance, so I do.
And
So here's
he
the thing.
seems like a straight line guy, but why would he defend this?
Here's the thing. I don't want you. I want you to listen. I'm going to highly recommend that if you have not already listened to it, it's literally less than. It's like 15 minutes. It's not super long,
Right.
and it's like a 20 seconds of like intro, and then they start talking back and forth, and he gives all this context and background on it and whatever, and they kind of talk around it. They talk about the spirit of the rule and again intention. Like his bottom line on a lot of this, and he gives different examples and like, well, but then there's like reserve bids and then like not really reserve bid, protection bids, which is a nice way of saying shill bidding. Protection bids are a nice way of saying shill bidding. It's just another way of talking around it. I'm just trying to protect the price of my item because then if it's not listed the right way and whatever, then the comp isn't good. By the way, that's why I said earlier that I was going to reference comps. One of the arguments was that comps aren't good if if it's not displayed enough, if it's not showing enough, and I'm like, hey. And I'm like, this is not that complex. Eric, I kept that rule simple for a reason. I kept it it's very streamlined. It's like, it doesn't need commas. It's really great. It's like one simple sentence that ends with a period.
And there was one, part of the interview that jumped out at me. I mean,
Sure,
really
go ahead.
jumped out. Okay.
Sure, go ahead.
Now I'm going to paraphrase. I tried to go back and find it before the show, and I ran out of time to find the exact, part. And so I'm paraphrasing. But Mr. P. Ryan was talking about how easy it is to get confused and bid on one's own shit. It was because, and this is kind of the paraphrasing quote that I can remember. I put on a lot of non-unique items, but the Jordan isn't one of them. And then he goes on talking about how when you're him and you put on hundreds of items in these auction houses, it's hard to remember which ones are yours because they're non-unique. And
they have a certain number right on the freaking slab.
But here's the point. Hold on. So he keeps talking. He's in this whole point. It was that it's easy for me to make a mistake because there's nothing special about these cards, and then I'm going through to try to buy more stuff, and sometimes I get confused and I go, oh no, that was mine. He admits in the sentence that the Jordan autograph card is not unique. It's very special. And this would not be a good example to the point that he's trying to make. Because it is a unique card. How are you going to see that on the auction house that you sent it to and get confused? It is a unique item.
Yeah. It's also, so real quick, before you get to it, Brandon, just real quick. It's also kind of a subtle attempt at a flex. You see, I bet on so many items, I cannot possibly keep track.
Yes, but he also,
because I'm so fucking rich, you peasants.
He did.
I know. That. I'm aware of that.
I'll paraphrase again. He did not say it this way. The poor people don't understand what it's like to be me.
He did. Yeah. So Brandon, real quick, I want to read this and then I want to get your thoughts. And then here's the thing. I don't want to play the whole thing. I will leave a link in the description, but I do want to play a little. I want to play a little bit because I think it's worthwhile for us to listen to it kind of together for a moment. So let me read Dan's comment. The same way that the hobby elites want to criticize BBC here over the G.I. Joe thing because they all authenticated why. Well, he's the only one also. He's like, he's it. The BBC stuff, BBC has turned itself into too big to fail simply because they're needed. So it's like, okay. Yeah. Eric is so judgy. It's true. Wasn't his show bet on his own item like 100K? So it was apparently 20K. But again, like, this, Dan. The point, I don't care if it's $20. The rule, the reason I made the rule so clear cut and straightforward is because I don't feel like it's a difficult one to follow. It's your item. It's up for auction. Don't bid on your own stuff. That's it. Like I don't care why you're thinking you're doing it. Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Go ahead, Brandon.
My question is, and I legitimately don't know, has he shown the bid history? Do we know if it was just a one oopsie bid? Because didn't he have the story of I bid on it to keep so I could follow it? And
that was the original story.
Now it's an accident. So
yep. It changes depending on the direction of the wind.
If you want to save face, show your bid history. And it might only show one bid because he posted it and then got busted. So he may not have went further. That might be the case. But it just seems kind of odd that the stories are like going all different directions from what the video that apparently got deleted, by the way. Like it just.
Yeah. And Eric, that video is lost in the sands of time. Like no one can find it. Link in the description.
Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense. And it's almost like he knows he did wrong and now he's trying to.
Yeah, it's a PR damage control thing, yeah. So real quick, Refractor says, Dr. Beckett of today has gone Switzerland in the hobby. If it was the 90s, he had no problem calling out BS because he was a no BS kind of guy. He's literally using Switzerland. Paul says, anybody who had PRI made his millions? I think I remember hearing about it at one point. I don't remember the specifics, though. I'm not going to quote anything. Was it through the hobby? Not really, no. Not so much. Dan says, I have very little doubt this tip of the iceberg with this guy. Could very well be. All right, so real quick. Like I said, I will leave a link. What's that?
That's how he made his millions, the Beanie Baby market.
So I will leave a link in the description. It is literally today's podcast. It is 1453. It's called Still Shocked, with Patrick Ryan. So I'll leave a link in the description. You can check it out. By the way, he's also on podcasts. Like I've got the audio version of the podcast. There's no video to it, but you can see it on YouTube. I'll leave you a YouTube link. And if you want to check it out, the audio version, it's the exact same. So I listened to it earlier just to confirm. All right, real quick. I want to play a little bit of it for you. I've sped it up slightly. I'm not going to go too crazy. I put it 1.5, but I want to let it run for just a couple of minutes here, just to let us listen. So that way we're all hearing exactly what's being said without me transcribing it for you. Okay. So just hang tight. We'll let it play just for a moment. I've sped ahead to about 1:17 here.
Go to auction with them. And for these auctions that have extended bidding, I bid on so many things when the auction opens. And a lot of times I'm bidding on Heritage or Golden or Fanatics, and I get a notification saying, you're not eligible to bid on this because it's your item. In this case, I see that I bid on it and I go, oh my goodness, that was my card. And my bid went through. So I say to myself, I was like, worst case scenario, I can at least now track it this way because Acquire didn't even email me that my auctions were live. So
I'm pausing for 1 second because in the original statement that he gave on his Instagram, he said that he said that he didn't know there was a watch list. So bidding was his way of watching things. In this case, he's like, well, at least I can watch it. So I'm missing the timing here. So I'm like, the timing is a little bit, it's like, what are we're gonna have to figure that out. But I just wanted to make sure I covered that piece because it's an inconsistency where the story changes a little bit. All right, again, this is just on the podcast. You can check it out yourself. Real quick. Stat Fiend here, just kind of randomly out of the blue. What percentage can look at the selling at the expo? Depends on what you're selling. That's an honest answer. Depends on what you're selling. It depends on who you're selling it to. Some people can do pretty well and other ones are going to offer you 20%. Depends on what you're selling and who you're selling it to. All right, real quick. Moving on here.
The next morning, I email them and say, hey guys, can you email me a list of all my listings? And they send me over the list. And I see that Michael Jordan card and I pull it up and it was already $10,000 more than I bid. Look, I should have raised my hand and said, hey guys, I made a mistake. What do we do here? They probably would have said, don't worry about it. Now, the big mistake I made is I promoted the card, posting a screenshot showing that I was outbid. Now, what's so funny is some of the naysayers, they're yelling at other naysayers, calling them stupid because they're like, he didn't shill bid. Because if he was shill bidding, he wouldn't have been so blatant about it. I mistakenly bid on my own item, which is actually very different than shill bidding. And it was wrong, right?
It's wrong. There's morals and ethics, but legalities. And we encourage everybody to abide by the rules of the auction or even the rules of the intermediary consignment broker, which I've been in situations where I was helping a friend that there were actually 5 stages and I was number 3 in the chain. And so I'm talking to Rick Probstein, who's going to put the cards from my friend's deceased uncle. And he's working through me. And so I call up Rick and I say, look, I'm doing this for a friend of a friend, my good friend, but his brother-in-law passed away. He's got some great cards, not all great cards, but I've given some of these to you. Can I bid on those? Because at X price, I'd be a buyer. There's some decent things in there. And he said, you're not the owner of the cards. I said, I know, but I'm consigning them to you on behalf of my friend whose wedding I was in, who's doing it for his nieces and nephews. And he said, then it's going to eBay. eBay isn't going to catch it. Rick is saying, I understand if you were the consigner of your own cards, then no, you shouldn't do that.
Correct.
Don't bid on it no matter what. Now, the issue that comes up for me that I do want to get out there is that my interest in these items was only in the case of reserve not met. Reserves, I had promised my friend, hey, you're going to get this. I'm giving it to Probstein. He gets good prices. You're not going to get way above market. Some will go below, some will go above, but you're not going to get clobbered. Okay. On a couple of them, because the description, it's looking bad. So that's why I'm calling Rick and saying, he said, no, you can bid because number one, I'm not the owner. And number two, this is still way below market. I'm not bidding it up. I'm saying at that price, I'm a buyer. And if you allowed me to have a reserve, it would be reserve not met, which is in effect putting in a bid for the consignor.
There's so many tangential issues. When I made this mistake,
There are not really that many tangential issues, but I only played about 2.5 minutes of that for you. Again, it's all on the YouTube channel. I would much rather you just listen to it yourself. I could literally make a video off it. Eric, I could easily make a video where I just hit pause, I say a bunch of stuff, I hit play, I hit pause, I say a bunch of stuff, and it's like, there we go. So real quick, I'll read a couple of things here. So Phil saying, that's Dr. Beckett. No, Phil, I am Dr. Carlos. And the reason I'm Dr. Carlos is because I declared myself a hobby doctor. I'm using the Jimbo routine. He's not a doctor. He can't write me a prescription. So Brandon, if he can't write me a prescription, he's not a real doctor.
That's right.
But if we're a hobby doctor, then God damn it, I'm calling myself a hobby doctor. That is why I'm Dr. Carlos. Number one. Speaking of making oopsie bits, after therapist made an appearance about a month ago, has he been back? He has not. Go ahead, Brandon.
I was going to say, you are a small fractional percentage owner of a team that, according to some, has a surgeon on it. So you are doctor
adjacent.
It
is true. That only adds to my credibility. It only strengthens my case. You speak facts, sir. But yes. See, Dan, that's why I said so. Now you see, and like I said, Eric heard it earlier. Now you see why, Brandon, as soon as I was listening to this, and as soon as it said with Patrick Ryan, I was like, go on.
Yeah.
And then I listened and I'm sitting there like, gold, Jerry, gold.
Yeah, exactly.
You literally just hand this on a silver. What have we done to deserve such bounty? Praise the content gods, always. I like to think, Eric, that this is the content gods doing me a solid after my baseball team, hurt my feelings. I feel like this is the content gods are like, Carlos, we got you. You can always rely on us. The sports gods will turn their back on you, but we got you, buddy.
So I'll admit, as you said, I didn't get to listen to it yet, but when you shared it in the Discord, I will say I was surprised, without even knowing any of the context of what was said in it, that Beckett would have even gotten himself mixed in with that conversation.
My big overarching topic, above all else, here's the thing, just so we're all on the same page. I really don't give a shit one way or the other. There's a lot of this stuff that happens, and if they do it, it's not like it's that hard to hide. There's a lot of people that do it, and it's just hidden. When somebody literally is dumb enough to actually, he literally got caught because he showed a screenshot showing he got outbid on his own item, like a literal idiot. And that's part of his defense. He goes, I'm too stupid to shill bid because you see, if I was a good shill bidder, I wouldn't have shown a screenshot showing that I did it. That is his defense. That is one of his defenses.
Then how others got called out too?
Yes, totally. 100%. So the point is, it's like, I'm like, no, that is not a defense. And it actually, like I said, I stopped it at before 5 minutes. There is another 14 minutes. And they keep going, and Beckett gives him a lot of material, a lot of defense material, and tries to talk around it. And I'm sitting there like, Brandon, I was literally like, if I wasn't in the middle of doing something, because as I was listening to it, I still had my work laptop on, and I was like, I actually have to get this done. If I wasn't, Brandon, I would have fired up the microphone so hard. I would have been like, let's go. So good, buddy.
Calls us poor.
Yeah, so that's part of it. It's like at the end of it, it's like people who don't bid on millions of dollars worth of things all at once wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand, Brandon. You wouldn't understand.
Did Beckett going on that other goofball? What's his name? Professor whatever. Did it mess with his acknowledgement of what he's saying on video?
Brandon bless Jimbo, but he's always been willing to defend his buddies. Like he talks around it, but he's always been willing to defend his buddies. It's again the hobby buddy, mutual appreciation society is always in full effect. So Phil here says the guy had a relevant magazine for a few years. So here's the thing, Phil. I am happy to make fun of Jimbo, and I do. But Phil, this one is you got to get up on your education, buddy. He literally has a media empire. His brand was so strong that people are still convinced that BGS is relevant. Beyond that, his brand is so strong that people are still convinced that BGS can be relevant because there are people that cling on to the brand of Beckett even after Beckett himself is no longer running the show. That's how strong the brand was. That brand goes, it's not a few years. That brand goes decades. That brand goes decades. He
built a hobby brand for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. His first, I know you're a couple of years older than I am, Phil. His first Americana price guides are older than you. So he's had decades where he's had run. That gives him a lot of credibility to a lot of folks. But I also kind of look at your totality of your work. Like the reality is, yes, you built a media empire. Again, the brand still lives to this very day, even as badly as it's been run. And apparently it's still profitable despite all the things they've done to it. So it tells you how strong is a brand, Eric, if you can screw it up for literally like 15 straight years and it's still around. Despite yourself, you still manage to squeeze some money out of it. Zach says, Sim got soft in his old age. It's not fair to understand not everyone looking at things from the perspective of an older rich man. I think he's had some of those thoughts going back years. I don't think this is a new side to him. That's an opinion. That is what I believe. Because some of his examples go back years. Didn't you listen? He gave you an example. That wasn't an example like from last Thursday. There's an example going back a while. So I don't think it's new. Carlos, I'd love to watch you do a video of this. Talk about gifts from the content gods. Yes, indeed. Good old regards, Dr. Phil. Yes. It makes me laugh when people start off saying it's a complicated or complex issue. It's really not. Shill bidding is pretty straightforward. Yes.
Yeah, don't do it. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, Beckett magazine was the price guy back in the day. It really was, yeah. What's worse, pleading insanity, stupidity or insanity? Asking on behalf of P. Ryan. I think he's trying both.
Go with both and see which one sticks, and then go with that.
Yeah. Consignment auctions are built in shill bidding. Yeah, let's call a spade a spade. Yeah. If I know someone doesn't reflect my education level, it does when you don't understand when to do it and when not to do it. We're actually there is plenty to make fun of, but right now there is a more serious topic that there is someone with a name in the hobby taking advantage of that name in the hobby to try to provide cover for another person who's built themselves up in 4 seconds. And remember, look, you want to play this, and we're going to go round and round on this because we're going to have some fun with this one. Because don't forget, y'all want to play multiple sides, and this is the test for some of you in the chat. Don't forget, old Jimbo Beckett is buddies with a lot of guys from Hobby Hotline who are friends with the hobby folks on For Collectors. Somebody in the chat knows about that, who are also buddies, with Jay Lee. They're all friends. You want to test and see how much denouncement you're going to get from that one? I don't think you're going to hear a lot of loud disagreement of James Beckett's positions. You might get a light, maybe he didn't mean it that way.
Since it's the Carlos rule pad and it's not just the full hobby scope rule pad, we need to make a 7A. A subset
7A?
On rule 7.
7A?
Friends don't let friends shill bid.
So it's on the friend shill bid? Okay. That's an extension. It's an expansion of the original. Yeah, sure. Yeah. We bid on each other's items. Yeah, basically that's effectively what he's saying. Yes. And we didn't even have to put him under oath. It's impressive how that works. If I really want a card, I ain't bidding until the last 5 seconds. Yep, the old snipe. Speaking of, Snipe A is now live.
Yeah, speaking of that, I find it kind of humorous that in the defense conversation of P. Ryan shilling, Probstein's name comes up.
Yeah.
In the conversation.
Maybe he should be putting his items in Snipe A.
And you know,
with a snipe with a Y.
Probstein's like listening to this going, okay. And all of a sudden he hears his name going, no. No, don't.
Oh, really? Yeah. Wait.
English.
So after his interview of Bill Mastro, this is the one that drives. This is the
Yeah.
one that makes him go no.
Oh my god, yeah. It just
you got him. You got old Big Bry. You got. It's like it's the Holy Trinity. Like it's like they're all there. They're all hanging out. And
yeah.
I think didn't Brian Gray also do like I think he did an interview with Probstein talking about his new platform too, and he was like pre-defending the platform before the accusations rolled in. He was already pre-defending it. It was actually hilarious listening to it. It was amazing. Again, going back to what I said earlier, I don't really care. Use whatever platform you want, go with whatever. But in this case, I'm not putting words in his mouth. That's why I actually played it for you. You can go listen to it yourself. Like, don't let me put Brandon. That's the only reason I didn't make the video. Beyond not having enough time today, I just said, you know what? Why don't I just give you the link? You guys, it's 18 minutes. You can watch it, listen to it. 1.5x speed, 2x speed, whatever works for you. Less than 10 minutes. You can listen to the whole thing from front to back. Make up your own mind. But I've been saying this all along. There's a lot of folks in the hobby that are friends with other folks in the hobby, and I'm not telling you don't be friends with other folks in the hobby. And I'm not saying you have to agree with everything your friends say, but you don't have to go out of your way to defend your friends on your platform. You don't have to. There's no rule that says you must.
I have another question that probably hasn't been answered.
Uh-huh.
So I don't really care about the guy, P. Ryan, but
No,
from
not really.
gathering like through conversations or whatever, it's my understanding that he had a 100 card list or whatever that he was breaking down and auctioning off, right? To that somewhat point.
Yeah.
If this was one of those cards, because my understanding, he said that he was going after more significant pieces, and
I
he
think so,
felt
yeah.
that these weren't significant. The 100 cards weren't significant enough. Why
Yeah.
in the hell are you bidding on it then if you wanted to get rid of it because you were chasing other pieces and this wasn't a significant enough piece? Why were you bidding on it?
No, Brandon, the contradictions are there. So I want to address Dan's comment. So Dan, I'm kind of having some fun with you guys, but remember, there's 457,000 collectors. So, you might have to all have a discussion amongst yourselves. Get the group gathering. Get on the big old Skype call. And the reason I'm saying this,
Dan, am I one of the 4 collectors?
you're
now?
probably adjacent, if nothing else, man. I don't know.
Oh, am I 4 collectors adjacent, Dan?
You probably are. You've been to Shriners. You've been in the same room as one of the 450,000 collectors.
Dan, please let
So
me
I don't
be
know.
4 collectors adjacent.
Exactly. So real quick, I do actually want to make a serious point, Brandon. I think you'll appreciate this. My point here isn't to bring down the empire. I don't care. Like, do whatever y'all want. My point is, so do you remember that I said that wait, Eric, I have a rule about sacred cows, don't I? I think it's one of the rule at the tail end. I think there's one about no sacred cows in the hobby or something.
Well, if you remember, this is the new number 5. We got rid of the old number 5.
Yes. Okay.
And
So,
we have
but I think that's the
new
one.
number 5.
Yeah.
Rule number 5.
Yes, go.
There are no sacred cows. We will mark everything in the hobby.
Brandon, I'm on point tonight. Like, I'm nailing my own rules tonight. Like, I'm really doing it. It's great. So the point is that people are human beings. They make mistakes. They do things that are wrong. And I'm not the person who's sitting here in the glass house throwing stones. What I'm getting at is I feel like some things are really straightforward. They don't require that. It's not a gray area. It's not that complex. If you want to avoid impropriety in certain instances, it's actually really easy to avoid it. In a case of in an auction, just don't bid on your own shit. No qualifiers. I don't care about your intentions. I don't care if you did it with your third cousin twice removed. I don't care if it was to protect the precious comp. I don't actually give a shit, Brandon, what your excuse was. Just don't do it. And we don't have to have this discussion at all.
And, obviously I'm not on a level of Beckett or anything like that. Not ever pretending to be.
Yeah.
But there was a moment in time where I was put in a position that I had association with someone who was not doing very nice things within the hobby.
Yeah.
I even went as far as trying to explain or, that was taken in a sense of defending said actions or person.
I said I was sorry.
You have to understand.
You should be sorry.
Well, you just have to understand at some point, sometimes people or things don't change. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. and you have to learn to cut those ties to protect yourself. Like, I don't want to be ever known as someone that did anything wrong or shitty or whatever. This is a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. Me and my wife did our damnedest when we were doing the group submissions to do it as best as humanly possible.
Mhm.
You know,
Eric, you're getting complimented. You should at least read the screen.
and
Go ahead.
you know, I don't want to do anything to ruin that image. You know, it's hard to build and make friends and
It is.
have respect, especially virtually. And so, you know, you just have to know when to cut the cord and not defend things. And that's just all it is to it. There shouldn't have been any. If you want to have him on and discuss it, let him give an explanation on his behalf. Okay, whatever.
I think there's an opportunity. So it's kind of extending your point, though, and I'll touch on some of these comments there because there's some good ones. It's not if your relationship or friendship is an honest one, there should be the ability to push back.
Yep.
There should be the ability to say, you know what, I don't agree with what you did here. I don't agree with what you're saying. I'm not going to back you on this. And I've had this conversation with people like, I'm not backing you on this. Just you. I'm very clear and upfront about it. I am not backing you on this because I don't agree. I don't agree at all. Because I would much rather not be friends with you or even deal with you than to have
Yep.
to defend something that I cannot defend or that I won't defend.
Right.
I'm not interested in doing that. I've lived long enough. I've got enough friends. If I make more friends down the road, that's awesome. That's great. I don't need more friends if I have to make my life more complicated by then having
Right.
to defend something that I don't agree with.
Yep.
And I'm not going to contort myself into a pretzel to make excuses for you. You want to defend yourself by all means. Like, I'm not going, in the same vein, I'm not necessarily going to go out of my way to throw dirt on you. But I'm also going to stand on the side and go, hey, you're a grown adult, stand on your own 2 feet, say your piece.
Yeah, I just cut the ties and like it's none of my business anymore. Like,
Yeah. But when you
So-
offer your platform, again, whether you agree or disagree, good, bad, or indifferent, Beckett has a name.
yep.
He has a strong brand in the hobby. He has a name. He is a long standing in the hobby, good, bad, or indifferent. He has, at this point, he's not going to get dethroned by anything that specifically he says or does. But it's one of those things where, like, you've built this because a lot of people trust what you say. They're willing to listen to what you say. That's why there is value to what you're telling these people. You want to kind of utilize that effectively. You want to use it in a way that actually benefits you, benefits them, benefits whatever. I don't know how that benefited anybody. Well, other than the content gods. The content gods benefited. So that was, that's one. Outside of that, I don't see it. I'm not sure who that actually helped. So I have no idea. No idea who you thought that was going to help. Mike is also saying the correct thing. Just put a reserve on your item. So yeah, if you're selling something and you really were worried that it's going to get less than whatever, that's what a reserve is. Now, some people are going to be discouraged. They're not going to want to touch it, right? They don't want, understood. But if you want to make sure that it doesn't go below whatever number, adjust your min bid, adjust your reserve, deal with the consequences. Otherwise, then leave it alone. I don't think it's that complex, Eric. I don't think this is, out of all the things I say, I don't think this is my most scandalous take.
No, I've heard much worse.
Yeah. I've heard much worse today.
Yep, it's true.
Yep. So Jay Lee, sorry here, Paulie. Jay Lee is a walking contradiction. Almost everything he says. Pay attention. I'm just reading. I'm reading what it says.
Move on.
These are our commenters.
That's fine.
Thank you for your participation, Paulie. Was this the same person who put a razor blade to someone's neck and then said it was a joke? Speaking of what Brandon was talking about, I believe it was. I'd buy Beckett in a heartbeat. Much agreed. Fair enough. Like I said, right now there's still, again, going back to what I said earlier, despite everything, there's still a lot of name brand value. They're going to be set up at the Expo doing on-site grading. And Eric, it's like $170 for show grading.
Right.
Jeez.
And I'm like, good, Brandon, they're charging as much, if not more than PSA for on-site grading.
So I wonder how it's going to go, because if you remember, 2 years ago, Beckett was a ghost town. And then last year, they were kind of busy. What do you think it's going to be this year? Ghost town like 2 years ago, or busy like last year?
Possibly
be tough.
busy because they're getting a little rekindling from the whole SJC fallout.
Yeah. So
To
refractors.
to Refractor's comment, we even to play along with everybody at the National, we had to stage a picture of us fighting.
Yep. So let me actually pull this up for 1 second. I want to make sure I read this. And I got it right in front. This is straight from their Instagram, so I'm just pulling it straight off of there so we can see it. So here it is right now. Let me just take this off for screen for a second. Right here. So this is from the Expo. This is the one coming up here in a couple of days now. So by the end of show, they put 125. By the way, going back to a conversation we were having, Brandon, when you're an American company at the show, just put the price in Canadian dollars. Don't start off with the price and then put it in brackets in Canadian dollars, because guess what? The 176 is what I'm actually paying. It's not the 125.
Yeah.
Like it's dumb.
People.
It's kind of the big number looks nicer, and then the small number 176 Canadian. Then it's 176. That's the price. Come on now. Most of the people that are going to walk over there are going to hand you cash in Canadian dollars. Just put the 176 and be done with it. So yeah, end of show 125 for 1 to 4 cards. But if you do 5+ cards, it's only 140. And I'm like, and I'll get the exact number, but I'm pretty sure, Eric, that the PSA is 130.
It was
Wrong
100.
side.
It was 100. Now it's 130.
I think so. No, it wasn't 100. It was like 100. It was more than 100 last time.
I thought it
I'll
was
get
100. I just trying, but my memory. I thought it was $100 American.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I'm talking about Canadian here. Like these are actually prices in CAD.
No, but PSA at the show in Canada had American prices. It was $100 American.
Well, now that's been adjusted. So right here, this is for the new show. All prices in CAD. So it's right at the top. Okay. So whatever price is on here, these are all Canadian dollars. $129 regular service by end of show.
Okay.
Beckett is asking 176 for the same.
I might have to test that premium elite level.
Maybe. But it's like Eric, I have a question. If you're Beckett, why wouldn't you undercut? Why wouldn't you say why wouldn't you say $99?
They're the dumbest ass company in the hobby. That's why.
Brandon, like you really think you're so special that you can charge $50 more and think that yes, we must?
No.
Yeah, I don't. Why would you choose them who has a smaller rate on return, right? Or return on investment.
At the moment, it still is, yeah.
Right. You have it's a lesser return on investment, but we're going to charge more than the people over there. That you'll get more money if you try to resell, and it's cheaper. It is just ridiculous.
The only reason I'm asking the question, Eric and Brandon, is I'm just saying though, like, isn't your goal to be competitive here? Isn't it? Wouldn't it be why? Like I said, even if you say 100 flat, okay. Hey, at least you're competing. You know, yeah. Oh, you could save $30 if you just want to get a card graded. Okay, sure. It still sounds like me like you could still make good money by getting a couple more people to grade with you.
Right. You want to be cheaper so people will come over and not stand in the long line and not have as long of a wait to put their cards in, but also to get them back. And you want to save money. And again, the return of investment is an important thing to look at. I put this card in your holder. It's worth less. Why are you charging me more? It's just bad business. And we know this company is the epitome. It is the redheaded stepchild of bad business. It's just so bad.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So Phil here says, legacy name, it just drives me insane calling a PhD in statistics a doctor. Yes, it's far more legitimate if you're just a hobby doctor.
That's right.
You will acknowledge my doctorate in hobbydom. That's legit. Doctor sounds more distinguished, that's right. And National Beckers will go. Plus, I'm calling myself a doctor on the internet, Eric, so that makes it legit.
That's how it's done from what I understand.
It's on the internet, so it's true.
That's what I understand it to be. Yep.
Satfin here says $375 for a 3-hour turnaround. I swear yesterday on Beckett it said 125. Yeah, look, like I just pulled it up from their Instagram, man. The 125 is in the big letters. 176 Canadian is in brackets underneath, which is deceptive, Eric. By the way, that's bullshit. Just like, come on now. If you really want the 176, then just say 176. Just make the big letters 176 and be done with it.
Right.
Just tell the truth. All right. Probably want to mess with GP, and he would die if folks call him a doctor in his title. Maybe he needs to be a hobby doctor. Yeah, 160 for grade and auto. Yep, gotcha. If I bought Beckett, Eric would be the first in charge of the parking system for bicycles in the parking lot. Eric's conditions are you must call him a doctor.
Thank you, Phil. That's man, that's nice. All right.
You realize he's going to have like 8K cameras in the parking lot for when you crash those bicycles.
I'm going to be in charge of bicycle parking. Yeah.
He's going to get you a fancy little hat. It's going to be like a fez, like the Shriners you were fighting.
That's fine.
Last weekend.
Hey, I'll be the king of the parking lot. All right.
Yeah, there you go. Paul says agreed. Eric will make people do stupid things. Yes. I got a Gretzky, Jordan, and Brady that'll never pay that much to grade. Yeah, that's fine. Like my stance on this has always been. Now, full disclosures. Let's do disclosures for some of the folks who may be newer. Brandon used to be an SGC bulk submitter. He also technically has the ability to be a CGC bulk submitter or CGS. I always get the acronyms wrong now. But he has that. He had access to that. I don't know if you still do. I think you do.
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah, so you still got access to that. And before PSA Canada became part of PSA Collectors proper, I did the PSA Canada YouTube show with Brad Harlan, who runs PSA Canada. So with all that said, I don't grade anything unless I feel like it.
Same.
So it's like, and here's the thing. Again, full disclosure, in my preparations, they're like, so now I want to shift over to talking a little Expo here for a couple of minutes with folks. And we'll do that for a little bit. We won't go too late tonight. I know Brandon has
because I got to get off soon because I got to get up early in a couple hours and head out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. If you need to drop off, we're only going to go for a little while longer, but if you need to drop off, feel free. So real quick, I want to talk a little Expo stuff. So in addition to the infamous, the comfortable shoes and the annoying, dumb things that we always talk about, I'll tell you what I do. And I'll do this like a separate video probably tomorrow on being a little bit more detailed. But I usually have like a couple of different piles of things that I'm putting together. One of them is the shit that I'm going to make Eric take back with him because I'm going to torment him. If he thought that Gordie Howe with the Leprechaun was bad, of course, we might have a Joe Thornton. We might have other things.
Oh,
who knows what?
I have one too.
Yes. Listen to this bullshit. Listen to this bullshit. Phil, my boss.
Your boss. Not loud, Phil. Your Phil.
Right, / friend, calls Joe Thornton today.
Amazing.
Thank God he didn't answer the phone. Left him a message. Hey, Joe, I know that you want this picture that I've been holding for you. I have a buddy driving up to Toronto for the show this week. Call me back and let me know if you want to meet up with him so he can give it to you.
Yes.
I'm sitting there going, I did not okay this.
Like Phil, like me and everybody, like me, your wife, Ham, everybody else. No one cares what you want.
I did not okay this.
Joe probably doesn't even want a picture. This is just all to set you up, which is brilliant.
It really is. It really is.
He's probably like, what picture are you talking about? Oh, okay, cool, yeah.
All right, so real quick, while Eric is lamenting his life. So like I said, one pile is just the stuff. So I've got some stuff for Brandon. I've got some cards for Josh. So basically, I've got one pile that is, let me make sure I organize and literally I'm putting people's names on stuff so that I don't lose track. So that's one pile. That's one thing. Then I always submit stuff at ComC, because ComC has its booth there and I can drop some stuff off. Now, ComC has raised its price a little bit, so I might not want to put all the same stuff. So I'm actually putting together the box of items, going through different boxes, grabbing it. That's another pile, okay? That goes into another box. And then the other one is there anything? So the last one is there anything I want to get graded? Now, this year I have a fourth pile, which I'll touch on in a second. But usually the third and last is there anything I want to get graded? And if so, do I want by end of show, or am I going to put it in the bulk thing? Because there's two different scenarios depending on, I don't need these back right away, whatever, take your time, I don't care. That's one scenario. Scenario two is, I actually need it back before the end of the show. I want to get it just done. No problem. Eric has a box of stuff for me. Inside of that is a couple of cards that I'm probably going to send in the bulk option. That's one. The other one is that I've got one card that's a 1 of 1. It's for my collection. I want to take it back with me. So I will pay the freight to have the end of show for one card. But that's it, Eric. One card. There's one card that's a 1 of 1 that I want to have back in my collection. Put it in the slab. I don't really care about the grade, to be honest. I just want it back for my collection. I'm just going to go with my other one that I have. Boom, it's going to go back in the box. Hand it back to me, and I'll take it back home. The other ones, take your time, whatever. Call me. Luke usually takes care of that for me. He'll call me back in a couple of months and go, hey, we're ready to go. Here's the bill. This is what it's going to cost you, blah, blah, blah. Here are your cards. And sometimes if he's coming into town, he goes, do you want me to drop it off for you? Other times, like, do you want me to ship it to you? Great. These are their own piles. Each one of these, Eric, is organized into its own thing so that going in, I already know where everything's going to go. There's no surprises. Because for my ComC one, I can print out the little slip. So when I go over there, they just scan it and boom, you're done. Thanks very much. We'll get your stuff processed. I don't have to spend more than 5 minutes at these things, Eric. They just get your stuff done, get what you need done. And this year, I need a pile for a handful of Medano stuff. I'll probably get some stuff signed on Sunday, so I'll probably do that. But the last one is I'm going to drop off some stuff at Slab Sharks. There's a couple of cards where I'm like, you know what? I just want to sell this. Just put it in the auction, let it ride, let it do what it's going to do. I've got 3 or 4 cards, and then that's it. I'm not going to worry about it.
I can help you with them.
The rumors with that, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just letting you know, I have a very good hobby friend that works very closely with Slab Sharks, and I could probably hook you up.
But is his head attached to his shoulders?
It's not always.
So we know what's going on. Listen, I only deal with people who are 6'4" and shorter, except for Steve.
Yeah.
Those ones, Brandon, that are 6'4" and taller can't be trusted.
So
Steve has seniority. He's grandfathered in.
Since we were talking grading at the show, I knew CGC had made a post, and I seen that they had a booth, but they're not actually going to be there.
No, they don't do grading at the show. They do have people that can submit for them. People can drop it off, but that's it.
So I want to get everyone's opinion. I don't know if I showed you this. I might have showed you.
Okay. Yeah, it's that fiend. I totally get it. If it's a KSA 9, yeah, it wouldn't add value for you. It wouldn't be worthwhile. No, don't pay them out for the grading. It's not worth it.
A little wrestling.
A little wrestling. Okay. Nice. No holds barred. Okay.
I might bring this.
Double check, though, that they're taking submissions for the VHS. I think they are. I'm pretty sure they are.
They're taking comics, games, movies. I don't...
Is it worthwhile for you, though? So here's the thing. For your scenario, though, you'll be back in the U.S. by the time they're done, whatever they need to do. So is it worth it for you to drop it off here, or do you just wait when you come back and just send it off directly?
The only thing it would save me is the shipping, but I don't know if they charge shipping.
Yeah,
which they might since it's international. So I don't know.
I'm kind of thinking you're almost adding
I'll probably
an extra
just
step.
Hold off.
Yeah, I feel like you probably be just do it straight from your homestead because you're going to want it back to your place anyway.
Yeah, I have a couple other things over there I need to submit anyway. And
So the bottom line of that, though, the point is that each one of these things, it's its own little pile that I'm making. They're organized. I have them prepped ahead of time so that I don't have surprises. I don't make it up at the last minute. By the time I get there, Eric, I usually have a pretty good idea what I'm going to do. There's 1 or 2 cards that you have that I'll probably hand over to Luke because there's in one of them was like a ComC thing. And it is, it's Ship My Cards guys are going to bring it. One of the Not So Fella cards. So because it's the Legacy collection, I don't mind having those graded. ComC is already doing one for me right now that wasn't ComC, but this other one, since it came from Ship My Cards and I grab it, I'll probably just have them put it in bulk. I don't want them out for the Legacy collection. Is not worth me paying the premium, but if I'm just handing over a couple of cards to Luke, that's it. But what's going to happen is it's probably going to be like 6 cards at the most, and then 1 on site, and that's it for 6 months. I'm not going to grade anything else probably until the next show.
There you go.
So I use it. I have plenty of graded slabs. It's not. I have no issue with graded stuff or stuff in slabs, clearly, but for my collection, it's not necessary, and that's the point.
I'm the same way. I mean, you guys know this. I mean, it's just serious for a second. Oh, Bobby, your stickers came in. I got them. I cut them out of the box, and they're in the pile. So, they're all in good shape. No issues. And I'll have them for you this week. I have over 100 slabbed cards that I purchased because the price was right, the card was in good shape, and I bought it. But I have only handed over 1 card and had it graded, and that was last fall when I handed a Bobby Orr 1967 Bobby Orr card over to Brad, and he took it out back, and I never even did paperwork for it. He just took it out back. A couple of days later, it gave it back to me in a slab. That's the only card I've ever had graded. So Um, but I mean, right in front of me. I mean, I've purchased these,
Mhm.
you know, but I have never ever sent them in. The price worked for me, and I wanted the card, so there you go. But yeah, it's not a necessity to me. I still think grading has a lot of drawbacks. I think there's a lot of error. I think there's a lot of room for error in all directions with it, and I'm not a huge fan of it.
Mm.
And until there truly is a computer AI way of doing it, I'll never really be a fan of it. I want 100% equality every single time, and not, well, my wife burnt my toast this morning and I'm in a bad mood, so everybody gets a 5 today.
Do you know what's interesting about that? There's so many things in this world that humans do that cost a lot of money, like your house, right?
Yeah.
It takes physical human beings to build a house.
Yes.
But we are debating whether physical human beings can assign a condition grade onto pieces of cardboard.
In 30 seconds, and because there's too much mood involved. Your mood. No one gives a shit about your mood when you're framing a house.
You might if it doesn't last.
I was gonna say, have you seen house collapses? Like I have.
No,
it matters more than you think.
You might.
They may make mistakes, but you're not worried about the guy's mood. It's either he's doing a good job or he isn't, and I mean, I get your point, but no, when something is a judgment, that's why I don't like sports that have judges. I like outcome, points, win the race, fastest time. You can't debate these things. You can't debate the clock, right? But gymnastics, it's my opinion. Figure skating, it's my opinion. I hate those sports. It's bullshit. So, and that's all grading cards is. It's somebody's opinion. And your opinion can be changed depending on your mood or outside factors. Where in the future, a computer AI grading system, it's never ever going to have a good day or a bad day. It's just going to look at it, and this is what I do.
Well, real quick, since Eric mentioned the AI grading,
Beep boop.
I didn't get through the full list of vendors, but I didn't see their logo on there.
Mm-hmm.
Will the robot company be at the expo? Because
yes,
they will.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
Will and I forgot his name, but will Old Man Tag be present?
God no.
Oh God.
I don't think he ever shows his face.
Oh
He
my
never shows his
God,
face.
that'd be awesome.
I really wanted the opportunity to.
He's never shown his face, as far as I can tell. He's never
congratulate him because they have made the gem rate numbers, but I still want to know where the hell all of those premium soccer cards that were in those cage boxes that so many people had submitted that have never hit the pop report. How are you doing 51,000 cards a month, but you still haven't done the damn soccer cards that were allegedly sitting there? I just would like to know.
It's a secret.
Fair question. So real quick,
was it 30,000 cards sitting there or something?
Look, I promise one of the next couple of shows. We'll do the subjectivity and grading conversation, because that's its own show. That's one topic. That's one topic show. And trust me, there's plenty of examples and things we could use. And by the way, I wouldn't just stick to one grader. I could give you. We'll go from multiple. Mm-hmm. We'll do one episode where that's all we'll do. We'll do different graders. I'll do a breakdown. We'll talk about the different pieces. Now, real quick, I do want to give one kind of a spoiler, though. Eric's dream of having the automated anything. I don't care who does it. Regardless. It could be Google. It could be IBM. It could be the Fanatics Overlords, whatever. The thing is, it will always fail. It could be your 50,000 and it will never work. Why? Grading has to be subjective. And that's the part that a lot of people don't get. It has to be, because outside of one specific metric, one thing that is objective, all the rest of them are open to interpretation. The only thing you can do in Eric's version there is lock yourself into one specific bias instead of another. Because my AI machine says it's a 6, and this AI machine says it's a 7. But the machines will always be, yeah, so we can run it 1,000 times. This one will always say it's a 7, and this one will always say it's a 6. But how does that work? Because the standard is subjective. There's certain components of it that are not objective.
Totally okay with that. I'm totally okay with that, because every card will be graded the same with that company. And
Yeah, I just want to make clear, though, I'm just making a distinction. Even in your fantasy utopia,
yeah,
it will never be consistently correct. It can be consistent,
that's all.
but if it's wrong, it'll be wrong 1,000 straight times.
good, it's consistent, and that's the thing about grading.
As long as that's all you want, then that's possible. But
Yep.
the correct part,
Consistent.
we'll never get there, because we may not agree on what correct is, and that's the important part. We won't agree.
I just want consistency, and I don't
Yeah.
think grading is consistent.
Yeah. So real quick, I do want to answer Brandon's question there, since I do have it. I pulled up the Instagram for it. So I did actually see it earlier today. That's the reason why I knew the answer to this question. So they do have it here. Okay. Now, again, going back to what I said earlier, I want to show you something. Now, remember, this is not on-site grading. This is you submitting. So they don't have on-site grading. They're looking for $32.50 for the 1 to 10 grade. So that's per card plus tax. Now, real quick, it's small. Now, I will give credit for this, and Lord knows I am as critical of the tag bots as anybody. However, they do right here. All prices are shown in Canadian dollars. Beckett, take notes. This is not that difficult. The big numbers are in Canadian dollars, so that the people at this show already know what they're getting into. Fine. Okay, but here's an important piece. It says there is a restrictions line there. I know it's kind of small. I'll read it to you. It says restrictions. Restrictions. Pre-1989 cards. No die cuts. No thick cards. No patch cards. No acetates. No impersonatos. No Korean Pokemon cards. No Gundam. No Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, nothing.
But if you follow these rules for $32.50 per card plus tax and shipping,
So Topps base.
you can listen. All the 1991 Topps base that you can handle, Eric, we got you guys.
Oh, can I bring my 91 Fleer?
Fleer 91 should be fine. Yeah. Now, by the way, though, if you want the 1,000-point score, though, that's $50. It's $17.50 more to get the 1,000-point score, Eric.
Yeah, I don't need that.
Because that's so much difficult for the computer to determine.
I quote unquote apparently.
No, nobody needs that.
Which
Yeah.
is what it was originally designed to do.
Nobody needs it. It's stupid.
Yep. Yeah. So there you go. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
All
So,
right,
so the
guys.
answer to your question is yes, they do have it. They do in fact have it. I'll leave it at that. Like I said, good on them on getting on the gem rate data, but 99% of what they graded is all the Pokemans. So they are the grader of the Pokemans. Like, why are we even bothering? For sports cards, what are we talking about here? It's
I
the
am
Pokemans.
going to head out.
Yep,
And,
go for it. You got a long trip, so make sure you do your thing. Safe
Yep,
travels.
I'm going to
and
be
then we'll
getting up
see
in
you
a couple
days.
hours, heading up. I'll let everybody know, like when we're in the area or whatever. So we'll be entering the Northern Neck soon, and looking forward to it. So,
All right,
Sounds
bud.
good. Have safe
Well,
travels, buddy.
I'll see you Wednesday night.
all right, you guys have a good night.
All
Take
right,
her easy.
see ya.
So a couple minutes and then we'll wind her down. If you guys got any last questions, feel free. I'll finish these comments and I'll answer a couple of questions. One thing that I was going to say as well, the part of the reality with a lot of stuff I'm going to try, because Mike was asking earlier as well about the live, but I'll also answer this piece. I'm going to try to take advantage of the opportunity, since we're going to have some people in, especially Brandon and his wife and everybody and those folks that haven't been before. I'm going to try to see if I can capture a little bit of vlog footage of people around and about as we go, because I'm going to be very, very careful and specific about what I'm targeting as far as the stuff I want to pick up. I'm going to be a little bit pickier on this one, because right now I'm looking around and I'm not seeing a lot that I'm interested in, Eric. I'll see stuff here and there. If I see like a great deal or something that I think is kind of neat for a really cheap price, that's fine. But if I'm going to dole out the proper cash, I really need it to be something that exactly hits something that I want. So we're going to be really selective on those pieces. I'd like to walk away with a couple of nice pieces. So I'm going to kind of hold back and look for like it's got to really fit one of the specific buckets I'm looking for. But obviously, as I mentioned, I've got other things that I'll also be doing as part of it. We'll be hanging out. We'll be chatting with the folks. So hopefully, if any of you do come down or come up, hopefully we'll see you around. And feel free to say hello if you see any of us. If you see Eric, throw a jar mayonnaise at his head.
No, please don't do that.
That's the
I'll
official greeting of the Massachusetts people.
I will vomit all over you.
Like he says with PSA, let's hope you don't get the Russian judge. He'll always score lower, maybe.
That's
Paul
right.
says, how much havre is around the Expo? I've definitely seen it. Some dealers are better at mixing it. What I find, Paul, is that the dealers who carry basketball and baseball a little heavier, they tend to mix multiple sports. So if they already have a little bit of basketball and some baseball, the likelihood of having some football is much higher. There are a handful that maybe will focus on it more, but a lot of dealers will focus strongly on hockey and they'll have a couple of showcases. But if you're seeing some basketball and some baseball as well, they'll usually cover the four majors. They tend to do that a little more. And some folks will have golf and other stuff as well. Some of them will have some, non-sport and another showcase. So some dealers try to have the full mix, the gamut. There's a couple of dealers that are like WWE exclusive this time around, which I thought was fun. They literally put it in the title, the WWE one. You saw the one that Brandon showcased on the text thread, Eric. There was one specific guy that was like WWE cards, and he literally put in in his title. Let me see if I got it here. What's the name of it? Yeah, it was called All Kinds of WWE Cards. That was the actual name of the booth. And I was like, all kinds? I take your challenge. So, yeah. So there are going to be some WWE folks that are going to focus on that. There's going to be folks with the Pokemans. But if I'm looking for football, I would have focused on people that have some basketball and some baseball because it's a much greater chance they're mixing it with multiple sports. If they specialize in one or two, then you're probably going to be a little bit less. But football is going to be light, especially compared to the U.S. Burrell said here, you don't want to meet him here. You might end up swimming with the beavers. True. No shirts, no dice. Yeah. Safe travels. Yes. Paulie says everyone needs to walk up to Jay Lee's table and bargain down on those prices based on eye appeal. Tell him grades don't really matter anymore. His own words. Ooh, Eric, you can get bargains. It's eye appeal.
Do you think, what do you think they sell at booth number 1202 and 1203, bacon and eggs? What do you think they sell there?
Ham.
Yeah. Pizza.
I think I know who the guys are who are the bacon and eggs one. I don't know why they came up with the name. I never asked them. I actually think I know who those guys are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I am familiar with those guys.
I may have to ask them.
Yeah, because I actually think they carry some decent stuff, but I don't remember what the deal was with the name. Yeah, so I don't know. I was at Elements tonight. Nice, Bobby. Final comment. Eric, go screw, says Paul.
I'm
Fair.
gonna check him. I am gonna. He's dead in like 3 days. I just want everyone to know.
I don't know. I think he can take you. Sadfiend says, I can't wait to see vintage raw prices. If you hear any yelling at the show, it'll be the vendors screaming for security. Hey, at least make an impact. I'll be at the Dallas show this weekend. Yes, perfect. Yeah, so Zach, funny enough, and I believe I could be mistaken on this. I think you've already mentioned this. I think what's going to be interesting, Eric, is I believe at the Dallas show is going to be a bunch of members of the 99 Stanley Cup team. And then Medano's going to hit the plane, the private jet or whatever, and then jet up for the Expo for Sunday. I think he's signing at the Dallas show either on Friday or Saturday, and then jetting up to sign on Sunday.
Speaking of jetting, from what I have to understand, Andy Moog is flying up, doing the show Saturday, flying to Boston to do a show Sunday, and then flying back up to Toronto for the Hall of Fame induction.
Probably, yeah.
So
some of these guys are trying to get air miles, man. I don't know.
So, and as we know, Andy's been sick the last couple of years, but he's doing really well. And we were kind of discussing it at work today. Like, man, I hope he's feeling good because that's a lot of traveling from Dallas to Toronto to Boston to Toronto, and then back to Dallas. I mean, it's a lot going on there. So good luck to him.
Yep. Well, a lot of people always joke about that thing, but here's the thing, Eric. If I'm going to travel that much in a short period of time and I haven't been well, he better be taking his precautions.
Yeah.
Wash your damn hands and mask up. Do whatever you need to do because you don't want to be hopping on a bunch of planes back and forth, traveling short thing if you're not feeling well.
Yeah.
Your immune system isn't great anyway. So, you got to
Yeah.
You got to go for it, man. So Orlando here, good evening. Bobby Burrell says, funniest name, been around for 20 years. There you go. Is the meat guy going to be at Expo? They better be. They make
Meat
bank. They make bank. Meat guy makes serious money, so he should. Canadian bacon, question mark, maybe. Bobby
Maybe.
Burrell. Debbie's going to Dallas too. Eric knows that reference.
Bobby.
Back to the pool
Bobby.
noodle. Back to the pool noodles. He'll probably beat the Saturday. Bet that pays well. Yeah, I believe it. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Nice to see Mike Medana doing it all for free. He does it for the kids.
Yeah, for free. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
He's not too bad though. Like compared to some of the prices I've seen, like Bergeron was really high, if I remember.
Oh, Bergeron's crazy, and you have to pay for inscriptions, and he won't sign his rookie card, and he won't sign ticket stubs, and he won't sign full-size tickets. There's a lot of I won't sign stipulations in his contract.
Yeah. Well, all things considered, given that, I don't think it's too bad. Like what it was it here, I'll double check. So yeah, so like Medano's regular items are $79 and the premium is $99. That's not bad. Like honestly, he's been around that price point for years now. Like it really isn't that much higher than it was like the last time around, I don't think. If there's an inscription, it's $20. But yeah, like $100 is like the premium. So if you want a jersey, it's $100. That's not terrible. Yeah, and I've definitely seen worse. Some of the names that you see worse prices for will shock people. I love to hit the Toronto stop at the Expo. I live by Edmonton, so that's the one I go to once a year. You should definitely check out if you have a chance. And good evening to you. If you have a chance, though, you should. The Toronto one is on another level. It's especially when we're talking Expos. Montreal does a nice thing where they are. Again, the Expo theme is that it's never in the city. The Toronto Expo, that's not in Toronto. The Edmonton Expo, that's not really in Edmonton. And then the Montreal Expo, that's definitely not in Montreal.
Right.
But close, but not quite. But yeah, out of the different ones.
We have a show coming up in Quincy, and it is being hyped as a Boston show. So it is quite common to just say, whatever the closest major city is, that's how we're going to advertise it. But there is a Boston show coming up after I get back, like the 22nd and 23rd, I think. And you're like, oh, it's going to be in, nope, it's going to be way on the other side of Boston in Quincy.
Indeed. But yeah, I would say if you ever have the chance, I would make the, Eric can vouch for this. It is worthwhile to make the trek for the Toronto one. You may not be able to make it all the time, but if you want to check out one of the expos there, the Toronto one, if you can make the fall one, that's usually a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. It's 10 hours for me, about 10 hours with stops and all that. I mean, Google Maps will tell you it's 8.5, but it's pretty much 10 with traffic and stops. And I hate driving it. I'm not excited about driving 10 hours each way, but man, that show is just friggin' incredible.
Yep. We'll be there 1 p.m. Saturday. Nice, Zach. Nice. Just went over the vendor list. Lots of guys who aren't at the National. Yeah, it's good to have a mix. If you're somebody who actually crosses back and forth, because there's some folks that do it, then you're getting a full mix of everybody. You're going to get some folks here that you're not going to get at the National. You're not going to get at a bunch of the big U.S. shows. There are a couple of guys that will cross over the border a little bit because there are some American dealers who are stateside anyway. And then there's a couple of guys that will set up like at, some of the New York shows. And some of them will go a little bit further, a couple of states down. But some of the border guys are usually pretty good because that offers them an opportunity to move back and forth. And like, the David Adams guys, they're set up like over in Buffalo. So for them, it's like, a relatively short track. So it makes sense for them to be like, yeah, there's business right across the other side of the border. And they make good money on that stuff. Eric, what's the appearance price for some of these former players? There's a lot of price points.
Yeah, I would say in general, it starts at 5,000 and goes up to 20,000. And with like Bergeron, he probably getting even a little bit more. So I would say the range is somewhere between 5 and 20,000, depending on the appearance.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Carlos, what is your collecting style when it comes to collecting Packer cards? For the most part, it's focusing on the fathers. That's usually where I put my focus. I used to have a couple of Aaron Rodgers, but like I said, I've soured on Rodgers because I wish the guy would just stop talking.
Oh,
that's
God.
really all I wanted to do. Just do not, somebody cut off his tongue so he can't speak anymore, and that'd be great. Just communicate an interpretive dance. That's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, the less we hear from you, the better. Great quarterback, though. Tremendous talent. There's never been a question about that. Probably
No.
one of the most talented quarterbacks ever. Favre's thing is that he's not as talented as Rodgers. Cannon arm, though. Like, ridiculous arm. But he was entertaining, though. He was very entertaining. Like, watching him, you never knew what was going to happen. Sometimes it was a disaster.
Oh,
It was a disaster.
yeah.
But there were times where he would suddenly get locked in. Yeah. But then there are other times he would get locked in and he'd hit these throws. And it was crazy. And there's a reason he won 3 MVPs. Like, he was a great player. But there's a reason Rodgers has even more MVPs.
And at the very, very end of his career in Viking land, the talk of him getting an MVP in his last season was very loud. He was playing that well that he was an MVP candidate in Minnesota, and because he had an unbelievable year and then it kind of fell apart at the end. But his last year as a whole, he was really, really good.
Yeah, he still had some in the tank. Well, the Packers didn't let him go because he wasn't talented. The Packers let him go because they had another guy they thought could be really great. Turned out they were correct. But then the other piece of the puzzle was that Favre was doing this on again, off again diva thing. Oh, I might retire. I might not retire. I might retire. I might not. And it just got old. Like, people were like, please just stop.
And
Like,
then he had his other hobbies like photography.
hey, listen, he has a passion for photography that only rivals your own.
I've never done that.
Allegedly.
Uh,
Collecting side when it comes to, so overall, I try to pick and choose. The advantage of collecting Brett is that he was a 90s guy. So there's a lot of amazing 90s cards that are available. Really nice looking stuff. And some of it is not that expensive. You know, it's not cheap, but considering he was the guy, along with Aikman and a few others, DeMarino, there were a couple of guys there. He was one of the guys in the 90s. He was in so many sets, and he has a lot of really nice cards. So it's one of those things where it offers a lot of great options. Carlos, you're going to get both the Madonna jerseys signed. I think I'm going to go that route. I actually have like a replica Hall of Fame plaque, which would be kind of cool. But I do have the 2 jerseys, and it might just be the time to get those done. Might just be the time to be like, all right, let's just get both jerseys taken care of, and then I don't have any left. All the other jerseys are either signed or they're in storage at this point. So I think those are the last 2 that I need to get signed. Never been tempted to get an auto of Dallas Lions or Stupid Long. That's fair. All these adjacent shows out there, I'm already here. You are. The fall show is amazing because of that cold, crisp air, unless you know it's hockey season. Well, it depends on the year. This year, I think we're definitely going to get a little bit crisp. I think it's rounding out to be okay. Like, I'm looking at the forecast, and it's definitely fallish. I don't think it's that bad, though. I think it's pretty good.
in the 50s, right?
Yeah, I think so. Let me take a quick peek. I will convert it to Fahrenheit to answer that question. Yeah, 40 to 50s. Right now, Thursday, high of like 46. Friday, high of like 52. Not
Yeah.
terrible. 40 to 50s. Above freezing, but not like super cold.
No. Same thing down here lately.
Yeah, so not terrible. And what I would always say, and actually this is a tip. Actually, that reminds me, Eric, we should probably, I'll send the text message. I'm assuming they know this, but just to play on the safe side, I will remind Brandon and Mrs. Bobbles to be like, hey guys, layers.
Yeah, bring one.
Just-
close.
Yeah, because that way, if it warms up, you can layer down. But if it gets wet or cool, because water can happen at any time. Even though you're above zero, that means rain. So but if you got layers, you don't really care. You're fine. You just don't want to be caught short without having the appropriate layers. Otherwise, it gets kind of chilly if you're not comfortable with it. It's not your main thing. Favre, interesting photographer. Interesting is a nice way of saying it.
That is an interesting way of saying interesting.
Yes. Best Favre call was when he threw that interception from Minnesota. So that interception in the NFC, it was the NFC Championship against the
Yep.
Saints.
Yep.
So I think I mentioned this. I mentioned this when I was talking to Dustin. My buddy is a longtime Saints fan. So Eric, he has that Road to the Super Bowl set that I've talked about before, the whole Road to the Super Bowl where they've got complete games. And like I said, the year that the Packers won, they had that strike with the people that were doing them, so they never got the Blu-ray version. We got the DVD version. Well, the year before was the Saints. That was when they won, so he has the Blu-ray. Eric, he watches the NFC Championship more than he watches the Super Bowl because he enjoys the end of that game and that call so much. He literally just wants to see that sequence. And I'm like, you realize the next game is the Super Bowl, right? Where your team wins the Super Bowl. He goes, oh, but the call at the end of the game. It's like, this isn't, it's like, I don't remember what he said. This isn't some place. This is the Super Bowl. A little bit obsessed with it. Obsessed much.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see here. The playoff interception. Favre was known for that, though. He was known for it.
Yeah.
That was the problem at the tail end of his career. He could get the team to an amazing record, get him to the playoffs, and even win a couple of playoff games. But then in NFC championships, he has this crippling habit of throwing absolutely crippling interceptions at the worst possible time. It is so frustrating. But he still won a Super Bowl, so he won a Super Bowl and he got the 2. So he still has that going for him.
Beat the Patriots.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and pop for the plaque. You also get all 3 things done while you can. I read some things I didn't get signed that I should have. Well, listen, Mike, if all else fails, my understanding is I can probably get Ted Williams to sign my plaque. I've heard rumors. This year looks seasonal. 22 left in Edmonton, minus 30. Landed in Toronto, plus 20. Indeed. Paul says, I watched the Packers-Bears NFC title game more than the Packers-Steelers Super Bowl. That's fair, but the Packers-Steelers Super Bowl wasn't really a particularly good game. I get it, but I get it. Let's
Is
see here.
Paul already in, quote, Toronto?
Paul's staying over in Wisconsin. He's not going anywhere. Yeah, or you're talking about Paul C?
Paul
Or
C.
other Paul?
He's already there. Are you in the
I don't know.
Mississauga?
Yeah.
Paul's-
So, I don't know. It'd be kind of early for him. Are you flying in, Paul? I expect you'd probably be a couple of days, right? I don't know. You can fill in the gaps on that. But we'll see if you're saying you land in Toronto. Although he does like to take in his concerts. He does like to take in his concerts sometimes.
Yeah, so I just was curious of if he's already there waiting for us.
Yep. Hodges here says, Carlos, other than Carlos Delgado, what retired Blue Jay player, if you saw a nice card, would you pick up, if any? Let's see. Delgado's usually a good choice, but yeah, if it was, I'd probably grab a nice Joe Carter. Joe Carter's always a nice pick.
John Olerud.
I would love if there are like some inserts he was able to get in right after that season where he won the batting title and everything. The John Olerud was never an exciting enough player that they felt compelled to throw him in a bunch of
Wasn't
sets.
an exciting human.
Yeah, but a damn good hitter though, like a damn good hitter. So I would say, yeah, Joe Carter. That's a bit of an obvious choice. I have a handful of Alomars. I wouldn't mind having an Alomar. Paul Mahler is good.
Paul Miles. Yeah.
Yeah, he was good, and he stayed for a couple of seasons. You know, obviously he had the World Series, but he did stay for a couple of seasons before going. I think he finished up in Minnesota, if memory serves me. But yeah, those would be the good ones. If I was going to go more dark horse, the problem is a lot of the good role players never got really cool cards. Like I wouldn't mind having a cool Pat Borders card, but the problem is finding a cool Pat Borders card.
Yeah.
You know, he's not the first name, but he did win the 1992 World Series MVP. Like that's kind of important. You know, it's pretty good. But he doesn't have like, you know, he was a catcher who couldn't hit his weight for the majority of his career. He had that one series where it all came together and did some amazing stuff. So there's a lot of good fan favorites, though. A lot of good ones. Don't underestimate my willingness to stop by the border and give Eric a knuckle sandwich. Go for it. Do it for the Shriners. Do it for the Shriners, Paul. It ain't 20C, maybe 45 Fahrenheit. Yeah. Fly out Wednesday. Okay, that makes sense. Gotcha.
All right, we'll see you Thursday.
Yeah, Tony Fernandez out already. Yeah, Tony Fernandez was a great player for them. Many years. He in 2 trips because he was there and then he was traded away and then he came back and he was able to get a ring on his second go around. But he was a guy who started off with the Blue Jays, so a lot of good history. All right, real quick, let's finish off on this, Eric. We talked about the obvious stuff. I talked about the organization, how important the organization thing is, because you will forget something if you don't take advantage of it at least a couple of days before. The layers thing is obvious. If you are not necessarily, if you're from like New York State or one of those places around, you're used to this already anyway. It's not really throwing you off. If you're further south, though, that's the reason why I'm thinking for Brandon it might be worthwhile just throwing the reminder. The layers will save you because then you'll be covered for all situations. Is there any other like not comfortable shoes tip that maybe we forgot something useful? We already said that you can kind of pre-plan the grading thing if you want to partake, and if you don't, then you don't have to bother with it. But having a plan ahead of time will save you a lot of hassle. That's usually a good thing.
The line. So thank most we on the show here are very lucky to have the connections we have with Brad and Sherry and things, so we can kind of sneak through the back door. But one thing that always blows me away is the line to get in. This is a huge international center. These convention centers. I mean, the place is absolutely massive, and that line seems like it's just going to go around the building 5 times. I mean, it just is so long. And when you get there at say 9 a.m., it is cold, with the wind coming across the parking lot and coming across the airport, right? And people are standing outside for a very long time in that line to get in. So either plan on coming late to not stand in that line, or come super early to get in the front of it and stand outside for a long time anyway. But that line is huge and it's cold.
Yeah. And I'll agree kind of what I said to Eric. If this is your first time at the show, then, if you really want to get in as the doors are opening, by all means. If you're willing to wait just a little bit, that line becomes very manageable very quickly, and you can move pretty fast after that. But again, it's just a matter of what you're trying to accomplish. Especially if you're collecting more obscure things, though, then your early bird does get the worm. You kind of want to get in there, make sure you see things quickly. If you're collecting, though, more kind of conventional stuff, or looking for opportunities, just in general, then no worries. Then you can kind of cruise in a little bit after the main crowd has kind of lightened up a little bit, and it'll make your life a lot easier. Now, Bobby's making a good call up. Bring cash. Internet generally isn't too much of an issue, but there are times when it gets really busy where it slows down. So if you're doing PayPal,
everyone's comping. Everyone's got to look for their comps.
Yeah. And that slows down, the connections around you. So, but also, what if can I pay by PayPal? Some dealers just say sure. But now you're waiting for the system to transfer the funds and to get confirmation, because the dealer probably won't let you walk away with the card on a hope and a prayer that it goes through, right? So the reality is, if you have cash, well, then that's easy. Boom, cash on the table, and you can go get it. Bring some with you, because yes, they've got machines, but then you're paying a fee every single time you extract money out of that machine. So understand that's the thing that you've got to kind of factor in. So that's an important piece. Paulie's saying Thursday night is the best night, 50% less people. Yes. If you can come in on Thursday, it is way easier to walk around. You're going to have more time to talk, negotiate, discuss, whatever, with a lot less hassle.
No deals until Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
So, but you can get to see the stuff without feeling pressure that you had 50 people looking over your shoulder, or somebody's going to buy something out from underneath you. But the guys aren't cutting deals Thursday afternoon. Just be
prepared. For the most part, no. Yeah. There's no rush. It's right at the beginning. Yeah.
Right. But again, if you go Thursday, you got first dibs.
Yeah.
But
the key, though, is that not only first dibs, if it's an item that you wouldn't get a deal anyway because someone will buy it, then getting to the front of the line is kind of your play, right? So you want to make sure you get it, because that way you have first dibs in this case means you're walking away with the item, as opposed to being like, oh, do you still have? Nope, it's gone. Yeah, so you want to make sure you do that. I was going to mention real quick, obviously we didn't do the usual spiel with AMG tonight. We didn't have the chance. But as always, AMG does support what we do, and I'm going to be around the AMG booth hanging around. I'm going to be around Steve Angel's booth usually. That's where these are the two places I kind of bounce back and forth between and other things. One thing I'll mention, though, and I'll talk about it on the AMG podcast, because I'll record it tomorrow and we'll drop it on Wednesday. So one day before the Expo, we will drop the episode. We'll talk about it. Ken Reed, author and TV personality, will actually be at the AMG booth on Saturday. So I'll do the scrolling ticker real quick here at the tail end, but just so you know, AMGcollectibles.ca, AMG Collectibles YouTube channel, all the links are in the description, all that good stuff. Ken Reed will be there with his latest book. So if people are interested, he'll be around the booth on Saturday. Also, they will be selling the Gong Show repacks, the Expo exclusive version. So if you are interested in that kind of thing, they're going to have them at the AMG table. So both these things are at the AMG table. So if you got questions about that, you can go directly to them. And I believe they are booth, yeah, I got it in front of me, booth 2610 at the Expo. It is 2610. On the podcast, we'll also do the reminder. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about the repack. We'll talk about the book thing. There's a. I told Steve, it's like, oh, look at you guys. You got stuff going on there at the AMG booth this time around.
Do you know what just off the top of your head, do you know what the book's about? Is it another sports card book, hockey card book, or is
so it's a story? This one is a story. I did actually listen to an interview where he was talking about this one. This was talking about hockey scouts and finding like talent. So I think he interviewed a bunch of hockey scouts who had stories.
All right, cool.
And that's kind of so you can imagine a hockey scout who is in different remote parts of the country, finding these players and everything. Some of them are probably gonna have some wild stories, especially some of the really old guys, because there could be some interesting things that happen. So that's basically a compilation of some stories of people they talked about. Good stuff, Noah. Yep. Here you go. I think that'd be really funny. I think you should park yourself there, Robbie. Why not?
Oh.
Just park yourself in one corner. Ken Reed can have the other corner, and you guys you go for it. I'll check in with the guys also just to see, and maybe I'll ask Sherry as well, because I suspect they're probably going to. I know Steve is going to stay back, but a couple of the other guys will definitely be joining Sherry.
He's not coming?
From what I understand, he's not. I don't believe he is.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. So, but they'll still be buying stuff, but at the same time, I suspect, and like I said, I'll get all the confirmations just so we're 100%, but I'm pretty sure they will be looking to bring some boxes, and that'll be kind of the focus to move some of those boxes. Obviously, like I said, we got the Ken Reed thing. There's some, the repacks are going to be there. So they're actually going to have their hands full doing a bunch of different stuff. So 2610 at the Expo, lots of stuff going on. The Gong Show guys are going to float around. We had a couple, we had Phil in the chat a little bit. We had Louis on Friday night. So they're already getting ready to traverse. They're going to have stuff going on at Minting. Eric, I got an email. There's trade nights. There's VIP appreciations. There is, a roving Eric Wade walking up and down, terrorizing the villagers. There's a lot of stuff going on.
I do my best.
Scandalous. All right. That's it. So thanks everybody for joining. This is a little bonus episode I always do right before the Expo. I'll always do this just to ensure we're going to have a live. My plan is to have a live at the end of the week. I will confirm when I'm going to do that. I'll leave some kind of a post just to let everybody know. That way it's not too much of a surprise, but it will be kind of last minute. It won't be too late though. My plan is not to do that. But if we get everything situated, that's going to be the plan, is to have one during the Expo. And I'm usually going to make a couple of videos along the way, as hopefully I find some stuff. And like I said, we might have to have live footage of us bailing Eric out of jail, running away from Shriners, being attacked by villagers. Anything's possible.
Shriners up there?
We can import Shriners.
Oh man,
they're tariff exempt. We can actually get Shriners for free.
Crap.
Don't even play this game.
Yeah, they're not happy with me right now. But all right.
You won't like imported Shriners. They're going to be extra ornery.
Yeah, I bet.
First guy to find a George Vezina rookie wins $5,000. There you go. All right, folks. So links in the description, everything I talked about. Like I said, we had that discussion about the Beckett thing. Check it out. Like I said, if you're curious, it's about an 18-minute conversation. Don't take my word for it. Go and listen to the man's talk himself. He and Patrick Ryan have a conversation. Like, you listen to it and you interpret it how you will. But going back to the rules that we talked about tonight, take everything that a lot of folks in the hobby say with a grain of salt. Yes, they can have a long history in the hobby. Yes, they can have earned a lot of the accolades they have, but that doesn't mean they always show the best judgment. It doesn't mean that they should always just, try to defend or create a venue for somebody else. We joke about it with the Probstein thing and talking Bill Master. Bill Master is one of the most infamous people in this hobby.
Yeah.
Throwing your arms around him is a move. And if I got a little time on if we do the other live thing, I have actually registered for Snipe. Snipe with a Y. And I'll report back my findings.
Oh, that's a choice.
Oh, listen, Eric, I'm all about supporting Hobby Goat Probstein. And I'm doing it for Eric. And what I'm going to do, if I manage to win something on Snipe, it will be a Joe Thornton just for Eric.
Oh my God. I'm really hoping he doesn't call back.
Layers on layers on layers. Oh my God. Think about it, people. Think about it. Findings or winnings? Why not both, Bobby? Why not both? What if I can buy Marcel Dion, Joe Thornton, 86 Red Sox memorabilia, all of the things that Eric loves? All from Probstein on Steep A. It's
Bobby,
levels.
I texted Marcel live on air, and he got back to me within 10 minutes.
So he claims. We don't have receipts on that. But anyway. All right, folks. Thank you very much for participating. You've been a great chat. Appreciate that. I appreciate the questions and comments. Again, back on the future ones. More videos coming up on the channel. Live streams on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fridays. Longest running episodic, whatever it is. And this Friday, probably, but probably a different timeline. We'll see how the exact start time happens. So, Eric in the Cave of Crap. Thank you to Brandon, Bobbles and Ball Cards, known associate 540 Flips. Thank you to you in the chat. Have yourselves a good one. We'll catch you in the next one.